Hey guys, welcome to the close Friday edition. Couple hours left in the week. What a week it's been. So much to discuss heading towards the weekend. Hope your afternoon is going well. Let's have a look at where the market's at this point. Pretty red still right across the board here. We've been back to this individual high a couple of times, but coming off once again back towards the bottom end of the range. 2.4 right now for the NASDAQ, 1.8 there for the S&P, the Dow, 1.4 to the downside. Crude oil is still holding on to a slight gain, ever so slight though at this point. It is back and forth a little bit as well. Yeah, another 2% for Bitcoin, another 3.5% for Ethereum. Yuck. There's the board, pretty red right across the entire thing. We'll start up here. That's Under Armour, the A class or the normal class shares. 26% to the downside for Under Armour today. Pretty ugly. Anything basically you see in the green outside of energy and utility stocks, positive earnings. AMD stands out though. There's 2% for AMD. The rest of the semi group though, pretty red on the day. Communication stocks pretty red on the day as well. Look at Dish Network down 16% today. WBD, Warner Brothers, Paramount, all the streaming stocks getting hit once again. Yeah, energy up, crude oil basically flat at the end of a wild session for crude once again. Quick look at the NASDAQ here, if it'll cooperate, and then we'll get into what we were looking at in the pre-market this morning. Yeah, it's not cooperating. There we go. Yeah, pretty red right across the entire thing. Monster we were discussing earlier, 4.7%. Everything else though, ugly. Even the Chinese stocks, JD.com, PDD, both down significantly. Wow, Lululemon's down 7% today. Yeah, it's an ugly one. Hope your Friday's going well. Hey, it's the end of the week. It's been an eventful one. Danielle Shea coming up in about 45 minutes. We'll get her take on what was the Fed, how she traded it. Ideas going forward, post-Fed, looking towards the next inflation reading, how we're going to deal with that, how we're going to move forward. So Danielle Shea coming up in about 45 minutes. Stay around for that. Let's get into what we were discussing in the pre-market this morning. If you joined us at 8:30, we get you prepared for the open every day. Join us at 8:30, hour to go through to 9:30. We're going to revisit some of those ideas now. See where we can do better on Monday. Sean is going to lead the way today with a look at one of his trades.
Yo, what's up? Yeah, we're here swagged out. We're about to put on our golf stuff, actually. It's Friday afternoon. We're having a lot of fun. Look, today we're going to choose Facebook. Why? I don't know why, actually. We just worked it out really, really well. Facebook was going to be a name today. We're going to look at the NASDAQ. Has had a crazy week, man. Up, down, around. And then today we came in and we knew we wanted to look at Facebook. We knew we wanted to look at Apple. Facebook, actually, my biggest stock today net-wise. I have the level 2 up right here. So why don't we have a quick look at this? This is just how fast it's moving, right? Back and forth. You can see it's 2 o'clock and the volume and the action here on Facebook up and down 20, 30 cents in just a matter of seconds sometimes. So this is a very, very volatile, crazy name. With that being said, let's look at some of the ideas that we had. When we came in today early, right, you notice we didn't have anything right off the open. This is that big volume spike right there. Why have I marked down these two lines? Because it's the pre-market high and low. So when you're trading a stock, you have to have ins and you have to have outs. So for me, it was going to be very, very simple. Either we trade below this pre-market level right here, or we trade above this high. And we're lucky enough that really none of that happened except when we made that move come back down. Normally, I'm trying to take a break on the way back down in, right? But because it happens in the first couple minutes, I'm like, I don't want to trade right away because the violence, like look at that high right there, 208.50, right? That's 1 minute. 1, 2, 3, 5 minutes later, you're all the way down here at 203. So that right there is $5 in about 5 or 6 minutes. Too risky for a guy like me that's trying to scalp, right? I don't want to get hit because if I go long up here off that move or short, where do I get out? The short is fine, but that first candle has a lot of volume to it and green. So we have to start playing off levels. So we let it settle down. My first trades don't actually start until about 9:44. We have the NASDAQ right here. You can see it's down today. So we really thought we were going to play short. So all of these purple ticks, as you're noticing, we start to short here at at 204.50, then 205. Then we take our last shot right here. Why? Because it's right into that pre-market level. So we're like, you know what? Let's go short and out. Like that's 204.50. That's 204 flat. That's 50 cents. Comes back up. Take it against VWAP and against that pre-market bottom. Then look what happens. An absolute crash to the downside. Unfortunately, we didn't hold for all the way there. But when you're short up here at 206 and you're able to get it out at 203.50, that's $2.50. That's a win. And remember, previously that was the low. So we take it out at the low. Unfortunately, we don't have anything left to go downside, but that's okay because we reloaded. As long as we stay below this line, we like the short, okay? So there's another reload there at 205, back down to the downside, 203 is out again. So these are multiple dollar winners and they're happening pretty quick. So look at this. When doesn't it work? Okay, Sean, you have all these shorts that have paid you off. Look at this last one here, 205.50, right? That's where it is. Look where we get out on a 206 break. So right there, as a loss, we're taking like 50 cents worth of a loss. Look at the size there, look at the size here, right? So much bigger winners than our losers, but then all of a sudden, we get back into this range and we actually reverse it into the long, which is where you start having all of these outs now. NASDAQ started to pop up. We're like, hey, if it takes out this 206 level, this is actually 206.30 or something like that. But we go long 206 break, out of the short, into the long, and boom, then you got 206. Look at these outs. 206.50, 207, 207.50, 209. Why did we get out there? Well, look, it coincides right with the top of the day again. And then what happens again? Like, I feel like this is Christmas all over again in May. Comes back down, happy Mother's Day, by the way, comes back down in here, buy off the 50 period, buy off VWAP, protect that 206, bang to the upside, that's 209s again. All right, now we're having a good time, right? Comes back in, there's the reload again, and when we're wrong, when it breaks that 206 to the downside, there's an out again at 205.75, something like that. The hits are here, but they're small. That's the point. Plan your trade. All of a sudden, again, look what happens. We don't have the long here. We feel bad about it, so we short. Short comes in, boom, to the downside again. We play the short off the day's high. The lesson, and I didn't zoom this all the way down. You can see where Facebook is right now. It's low as the NASDAQ goes down, which is fine. We're short Apple. But look what happened inside here. Look what happened when I started playing inside the range. Chop. We don't have any winners here. This one, we went short there and out. We went short there and out, or long, or in and out there. I don't know what happened, but the point is that we don't have winners when we trade inside the band, but when we trade outside and key levels, that's when we have the winners. So it's your trade of the day. The important thing again here, guys, look at your levels and trade off them. You can be rewarded.
Or depending on what you're looking at this morning, if you are looking for an absolutely free resource every day, that is your solution. That link will get you to the watch list, guys. All you need is your email address, and you can have that for nothing, free, every day in the pre-market. Before we come on at 8:30, we set you up with everything you need to know. Watching this RADI, which popped up on news that they're potentially, apparently, looking to sell the company. So big move there, 12.5 up to 15, 16% coming back in a little bit. But RADI among the movers this afternoon. There was so much pre-market, lots of earnings, lots of things moving, but overall the market was kind of in a place where we were wondering which direction it was going to end up going. Turns out it was downside. It was pretty clear right away how weak the overall market was out of the gate, but then the reversal comes, we come all the way back right through the entire range to the top end. We're kind of leaking off now once again, guys. But, I mean, a lot to consider with the overall market coming off of just a wild week, as we said here, trying to get back to day lows.
Some of the moves, and welcome, guys. Some of the moves at the open were completely insane, as you heard Sean say. Like, to say there was a lack of a bid is a bit of an understatement. However, when we reclaimed the top, as you mentioned, heading to the bottoms now, when we reclaimed support on both the ES and the NASDAQ, we then sat there from like 10:30 all the way until pretty much a few minutes ago, when we then retook the overnight lows, the weekly lows, and this is what's happening here. And now headed back southbound. So, individual names that had ridiculous comebacks starting to roll over again. I mean, Look at the opening candle. This is the opening candle on Square. Square went down $12 at the open. It is yet to roll over, but it's already pulled back $4. Volatility, like we always keep saying, is here, obviously here to stay. Maybe we can find a bottom at that low of the day, but it feels like the sell is on. It was just nothing on the bid, and you could probably pick a dozen stocks that were going crazy. We'll probably get to a few of them, but as we talk about testing these lows, that was the NASDAQ. This is the ES. We're halfway there. It's not just a low today. You go back to the beginning of the week, and that could be in play as well. It bounced on the ES. If we were to take out the 40-50, that could get pretty ugly. But if you're not in a short position right now, you're either hunting for a pop. I don't know where you're going long in some of these names unless you're protecting against the morning lows.
All right. Yeah, look, I mean, you're seeing me in a $2 winner right now for Apple. I mean, we've been protecting this short all day. We've been hitting it all day short. Just look at this, like stair-stepping the shorts, stair-stepping the bids, then going all the way to the downside. So we are now still short Apple. I wish I put a keystroke error in here, or else we would still be short up here, which would be about $3 now in the money. But unfortunately, I put the wrong price there, triggered me out, and I had to re-engage in the short. So no profit lost, but again, it would look a little bit nicer if we had a little bit better short. But yeah, look, I'm with Neil, man. I mean, this NASDAQ, we talked about that early here. This is when the NASDAQ opened up today. You saw me do the trade of the day with Facebook. Look at the move that happened early. We rebounded. It got to virtually 13,000. I'll call 12,950. 50 points away, that's good enough for me. And then we've now fallen 300 from there all the way back in. Are we catching a bottom? Maybe, which might make some sense. I feel like a lot of this down here was panic selling. And right now we've bottomed out there at 12,650 and we're bottoming out again right now. So I'm wondering if the NASDAQ does break any lower than this 1516 area, something like that. So just watch out with this. I'm still going to be in the short here for Apple. I'll probably, oops, I have the line on. Probably get out if we retake something like this, 157.40 or so here on Apple. But right now we're $2 in the money, and we'll try to hold this as much as we can. But again, a break, probably back into this area, like a 50 period. Yeah, 157.50, something like that for Apple. But hey, man, so far so good on all these shorts. We have a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about BLCO as well. Neil and I both traded that one on the show. I'm still in it right now. BLCO, that was a good one. Bausch and Lomb comes with the IPO today. So good trading on that name. But yeah, Brennan, I mean, you started with a little bit of volatility, and I think we're going to end with a little bit of volatility today as well.
Yeah, definitely. Let's jump into a few things we were discussing this morning. DraftKings was one of those on a decent, remember, this was actually positive in the pre-market, a decent earnings report for DKNG. We got all the way up to 16. What a reversal that was as soon as the market opened today.
I just going to say what's up. I just get a shout out to Myers Taylor there. Thanks, Myers. Yeah, I mean, look, you found our show. Welcome. Yeah. Welcome to the show. We get flat at the end of every day. So this is not a swing trading show, although I'll give some ideas for swing trades near the end of the day. And if we have any ideas about that, but welcome to Myers Taylor there.
Yeah, welcome, Myers. We're going to talk about DraftKings here, but someone asked why is Fisker so strong. It's actually not that strong. I mean, it's up 2%, but it's pulling back with everything else. And that's one of the things that we'll do is if we're not watching it and it's moving, we'll let you know. Look, we talk about these candles at the open, and there are probably at least a dozen stocks that did moves as violent as this. Like DraftKings drops $2 in the first 15 minutes of the day, 20 minutes or maybe 20, 25 minutes of the day. But that's not a $100 stock doing it. It's a $15 stock dropping $2. And it's not the only one that did this. And it wasn't as if, like, it was actually a pretty good report. It just didn't matter. Once it started going, the only bid to be found in the vacuum was the weekly low. And that's down around here at 13, which we're about to test again. I'm kind of curious to see if there's anything on the bid worth jumping in front of on that 13. There were buyers before. Maybe they'll stick around there. If you look at the volume at the open, it was absolutely insane, the wipeout that it made. And usually when you make a low like this on high volume and bounce, you're able to hold it. This time it looks like we're testing right back into that 13. But what an unreal run that was. But whether it was this, it was Open Door, I showed you Square, Peloton, and there's probably 15 other ones that just had a lack of a bid, and now you're going to retest some of these bottoms. Man, if 13 were to go on DraftKings, I'm not even sure what we'd see. And it's not even SSR, so anybody and their mother can hit that bid, I think.
Draft?
Oh, no,
DraftKings is SSR.
It is SSR.
Yeah,
Never mind.
Yeah,
it is SSR, so you can't hit that. Damn.
Should be SSR. There. Yeah, Donkey Kong did touch that pre-market high there today. And actually, this is my number one stock to the downside. I have two losing stocks. It's AMC and it's DraftKings. And I mean, we wouldn't be who we were if we weren't honest with everything. I thought DraftKings had a chance to take out 16. But again, I should not have gone long unless it did. Like, I'm learning every day. Like, you know, when I wrote down 16 here, it was more like, and I put it on the sticky note, I can call it up for you guys, but it was more just about the fact that, hey, I thought we had a chance to take down that $16. But once we didn't, I should have stayed away. Instead, we got long at the pre-market bottom, then got long again, and eventually it broke 1450 where we wound up getting out. Held a small piece for the 14 break, which was ridiculous to do as well. And then that broke down. And then finally, we got patient down here, guys, and took a 13 bid and was able to make money as that whipped up to 14. So DraftKings, you know, mistake today, but hey, we're going to make those. And that's the one thing when you're trading, you know, to give any advice to people, and we give advice every day, I hope, anyways. And that is that don't overtrade, right? Stick with your levels. That's why the Facebook trade worked for me today. Playing in the middle when things aren't happening, like I had no reason to trade that DraftKings in the middle here. Like, what is so good inside here? Like 15, 16, there's really nothing. Either takes down that 16 in here, like it made that top today, which would give us a nice little move to the upside, or we come down and we try to respect these 13 bottoms. It's a very easy trade. I was dealing with it in the middle here, should not have just waited for these ultimate back and forths. And in a market that's this volatile, you can get those plays. So that's the thing. Definitely a mistake today on DraftKings.
All right, one of those days where we needed some of the big names to participate to the upside if the market was going to. It turns out to be kind of a back and forth type of session for mega cap tech. I was just watching Apple here. I mean, essentially right in the middle of the range on the day for Apple, currently 157 after getting up to 159, guys, but never really got going.
It tried.
Yeah, I mean, I can talk a little bit about Apple if you want. Go ahead.
No, I was going to go Tesla, so go Apple first.
Okay, sure, yeah. So, look, Apple, we can just look at it here on the 20-minute chart. I talked about this, I think it was either during the show or after. I was speaking with somebody there. I mean, it's just Apple. Big move down from that 172 that started in late April, right? We almost got back to all-time highs there of 181 or something, or 183, 184. 171, that's close enough. But then since then, it's just been a drastic move down to these 150s. And then since then, it's been a roller coaster. Up, down, and then today we made that move up. So I was thinking just naturally that we would play off some of these 160s and 159s, right? You go back here a couple of days when we tried to get going backside, it was 159.50 that failed. Then we held that 159 again. Then once we broke it, that's when we went back down to 154. So I'm trying to play. This is a 20-minute chart. So I was thinking today, and again, NASDAQ, we talked about the weakness. We saw the NASDAQ down 5.5% yesterday. So obviously when I came in today, I was really just thinking about those levels again. So when Apple came through, and here's the levels right here, came through again, what we did early was short. So we started to short early, which was a good trade. We got them out, but then it broke higher. And at this point, we were actually negative on Apple because all of these like short. Normally we'll put on an average of 2 to 3 shorts there in a row called averaging in and averaging up in this, or in, I guess, in this situation. It breaks that 156. Then we start to go to the upside. But then we have to start to respect some of our rules. Once it gets into that 159, 160 area, we know we like the short. So again, why are we messing with it down here? We shouldn't have been. But once it came back up, we're positive on Apple right now. All of these shorts started to come in, and we were just respecting this 159 again. So if you call the 20 minutes, you know, there's that 159. I can draw the line to show you where we thought about it. It was right into here. That's 160, and then this top is 159. So we had some reasons to go short in here. We did it. We hit Apple numerous times, and if I zoom in, it even looks better because there's the short and there's the out. Short again and out. Short again. Did not get out there. Averaged in at the top when 159.50 came through, and then you're seeing what's happening right now. We're short $1.40 in the money. So I think the lesson to be learned here with Apple, for me at least today, was stick with your bias. And if you have key levels, stick with them. We were biased short. We had to wait for 159.50. Once that came, we struck with vengeance, and you could see right now $1.50 in the money.
I actually just got into that BL. We're going to talk about BLCO in a second, but it's at 19. It's like a triple top or whatever at 1950.
Right, so you're short.
I got 44s there. I mean, I took out the long after the first few minutes of the trade because I did the take the opening print. We'll get into that, but I wanted to show Tesla here for a second because it's about what could happen here and what we're looking at for Power Hour. And ultimately, on your daily, you're going to see obviously the last couple of days rejecting, and you can see these times that we've tested down at 850 and managed to sort of whip back above here. We haven't lasted very long, but once again, you are rolling through these lows. That's what happened this morning. It's more the rejection, and this is what happened at the open. You tried to get through that 880 area and did the wick top, rejected, and then you did the same thing trying to get through this 888 later on in the afternoon. Now we've rolled back, and we're retesting yesterday's low, which was about 857 or so, and we're just on that bid. Now you're going to see my execution here on the long. We talked about this with the trade of the day yesterday. When I grabbed the Tesla long off 901, I was willing to make the bottom wick. Today, and that wasn't even the bottom, right? Like that actually wasn't low. And there goes 950, by the way. So your long's probably pretty good. Today, when I did take it, I made the bottom wick on Tesla, and it ended up running. So there's two separate. The day that it won was the day that it went halfway before violating that low of the day, which is fine. But if I had dug in and not taken the out yesterday, I would have been destroyed because it went $40 lower. Today, I take the out, and you see it actually rip off those back to the highs. It's going to happen to you sometimes, right? Like there's no way I'm trading Tesla every single day, and then or almost every day, and then not willing to take that out. Because if we had headed lower from there, if you were watching where we were in the market, where we were in the ES, where you were on the Qs, and that below that 850. If you just get stubborn saying this is the area it's going to hold and you don't have a stop, well, we could have been at 800 in Tesla in an absolute heartbeat. We saw that happen the other day when Tesla put in this day. And it was disbelief thinking it could actually drop $140, $150 in one move. And that's exactly what could have happened if we had taken out those lows. So you always want to make sure you have a little bit of an out. Looks like the market is trying to get, well, it was trying to make a little bit of a bounce there. Now we're retesting the bottoms.
All right, let's go to Bausch and Lomb. Yeah, finally, it's been a while, as we were saying in the pre-market, a notable IPO to discuss and trade that came to market today. $6.5 billion on the valuation after pricing, how much was it? It was 30 million, I think it was, shares at $18.50. So, I mean, a decent look here. As we said, just took out the highs, guys. Decent liquidity on this. That was kind of the thing I was keying in on to see, you know, how it traded, how much liquidity was there, how much volume was there, and it turned out not bad.
I'm gonna hit this. Oh, what just happened there? That didn't go well.
It did. It said congratulations or something.
The thing about this, it's the first big IPO, well, the second biggest IPO this year, and in this market, it did really well.
Yeah.
Like now they priced it at the lower end. That's one of the positive things. They priced it at 18 when it was going to be over 20. But hey, you took the opening print and it just won for you. So we'll see how it goes. Like this is a profitable. It was recently profitable, I should say, and they actually have like almost $4 billion in revenue. So that valuation, it's not. People know Bausch and Lomb. Like this isn't some random no-name company out there. But at the same time, given what the market is doing, for it to be on the highs today is pretty good. And speaking of which, it just kind of reclaimed that 1950. And heck, man, when it's a wick top like this,
which is which?
When it's a wick top like this, I'm always going to get back into the short. So that was kind of a failed break at 1950. It's not exactly the same price, but it might as well be. I'm right back into it. Just see if it can come back in. I've seen this late in the day on these. Like if it doesn't take out the high, usually a solid retracement can come in.
All right, so I have actually an embarrassing story about this one. I told it on Prad's show, and that was that when I got filled, so I put an order in. You could just put in a limit on open order. So I just put in the price $25 or something like that, obviously thinking that it would come out at 18. It was tapping 18.25. I never even looked at the price when it came out. So this is my embarrassing story. So here's me getting long there at 18.50, and then I thought I was actually long at 18.25. So when it started to come out, I was like, oh yeah, let's go. And I started getting it out, 18.50. I was like, I'll take some out. So we got in there at 18.50. It actually went down off the opening print, right? So it actually came back in a little bit there. So I was starting to get out of that trade before realizing that it was indeed a loser. So once I looked down and I was like, oh, wait a second, I'm actually long at 18.50. That's when I was like, okay, now I just have to hold because we made that mistake. We got out of about 20% down there because because I just started to offer, enter, right? Thinking that I was collecting the money. It was just happening so fast. But obviously that didn't work. So we got some out there. So it's a little embarrassing. My best out, or my worst out, I guess, was 1840. So we wound up losing about 10 cents on a little bit. So a little bit of pie in my face there. But then it started to go upside. There's an out ahead of 19. There's the out at 1915 there. And then again, busy doing other stuff, preparing things, whatever. So I didn't really get a chance to trade this at 19, but it looks like 19 held pretty good. So that was a great level to reload the Bausch and Lomb. We're still in this trade right now. Let's just see where we go the rest of the day. Look at this 50 period right here. If it respects that 50 period, then that's what we're going to do. We're going to wait to see if that breaks. So it hasn't broken since we took some of these levels out. That wick probably is not real. So we're going to give this to at least 1930. That's where that period is. And look, that coincides with exactly where I like to trade, quarters. So we're going to get out right there. 19 quarter if it breaks back to the downside, which would be a 75-cent win. So although this is it's more funny than anything else because it didn't wind up costing me that much. But still, would have liked to have those trades back. And that just goes to show you, you got to look to see what price you have, and it came in. I had only seen it tap 1825.
I put this in the chat to basically see what happened. Tap is like the theoretical auction price,
right.
So it indicates where it's going to open in the imbalance system, and it's built in on our platform. It was 1825 the entire day.
Yeah.
The entire day. So you're sitting there just staring at it, 1825, and then probably seconds before, right before, it moved to 1850. So if you just saw the position come in, which is exactly what happened to us, your assumption would be, I've been staring at 1825, that's the indicated open, it's been that for 3 hours, that's what you got. And then you look at the price and it was 1850. So it's one of those, yeah, of course you should know,
it's
but
still
trust me, that's the first time I have ever really seen that, where I got a fill as well. And I wasn't, I thought I was long at 1825.
We weren't even really talking about it. I think that's the problem. It popped in, and instantly it was like, oh yeah, here we go. And then that was the mistake.
But I just looked a minute ago, and it was 1825, and then it comes in, so that's what I thought I got.
Did you take that print, Brendo?
I did not, actually. I was away from the desk as well, so I was not able to, but it was good to see at least an IPO, because it's, as we said, been a while. A couple other interesting earnings reports, interesting moves as a result. Both Lucid and Block report aftermarket yesterday. Decent reports right across the board, but both, again, getting absolutely flushed off the open, 4.5% as we sit right now for Lucid. But what a move that was.
Lucid was insane. So I wasn't in the Lucid short to begin with. I shorted it off this level when it came back because I was in Block and, it was a few other ones. Block and Peloton were just more enticing. It did come back to this 1850, and if you remember, 1850 was a pretty significant level in the higher time frame. But then we broke out and stopped out on Lucid, and now you're back to these lows. And this is where I'm sort of getting at, so many of these names have pulled back, and when you get a V-shaped bottom like this, you're accustomed to. That's a wipeout low. You've exhausted all the selling, and you're going to hold support. Lucid is not holding that support. And on the daily chart, it's ugly. On the 15-minute as well, you're back looking at these 1750s and saying if you get to these lows, it's kind of like DraftKings. It's like the last line in the sand. And the one that we did trade, I know it's pretty related to it. I want to make sure we remember Rivian here. Rivian's already broken. It broke in the morning, that 29.5 low, and it's right there again. Rivian has a lockup expiration next week, so that might be more interesting than something like a Lucid just for those reasons. But everything was a pop and fade. I traded Rivian and Lucid. Rivian was certainly better, and I don't think we're going to be seeing these 31s or these 30 highs again. It doesn't feel like it's got that much juice. This broke 30 even, and I crossed down to 88 and couldn't even get the fill. And now you're testing these lows. Whew, man, if Ford decides to sell next week,
oh yeah, we got to look.
It's what's even going to happen to Rivian if they decide to get rid of their stake at this particular point? Because you're sitting on the shelf for this name and for a lot of these names in the space.
Yeah, look, you don't making money in this environment. I think if you want to trade, EV space and you really think it could start to go, I would honestly, I mean, even Ford has got, I mean, you just mentioned Ford there. They've gotten killed the last little while, man, for making this 25 top all the way back in. Just looking at levels and trying to hold names that we really believe in. I think if you're going to hold anything, I would rather hold Ford to this 1250 bottom. And like instead of just sticking your money into a Rivian and hoping that it doubles from here, I really think, I mean, it could double, and I think it does at some point. But, Lucid comes out and says they're going to make 12,000 cars this year. I mean, it's just kind of like Ford's making, and again, once Ford gets their electric vehicles rolling out, they're going to be doing that in a day. You know what I mean? Like that's literally what Tesla. I think we had the Tesla numbers. It's one every 30 seconds or something. So, anyways, as you're looking here, I think a better investment would be something down to Ford. Day trading though, like Lucid and Rivian, those are great names to trade for day traders. That's why Neil and I will continue to scalp them. I don't really remember the last time I looked at Ford, but I really think it's going to get interesting, especially if this 14 holds. This is definitely a name that's going to be on my radar next week. Into this 14 level. So I like Ford for longer term. And then, of course, I always think that Tesla is really where you want to be if you like these names.
All right. A few others to talk about. I mean, we mentioned Block. We mentioned a few of the other retailers that were out with earnings as well. But nothing terribly exciting, guys. I was just noting XLF, which is obviously financial stocks, back in negative territory as well, 1.5%. But some of the banks did hold up a little bit better than everything else right out of the gate this morning.
The banks did, I mean,
the market's trying to dip down.
Now that we're dipping down, this is one of those in this market. And by the way, I'm not taking a third shot at BLCO. As long as it's so good, it's the only thing strong
I'm not
right
dropping
now.
this long.
Like I don't see anything else that's really strong right now. Bausch and Lomb is the only thing
Bausch
strong.
and Long.
Bausch and Long, I like that.
Yeah, I like that one.
I like Bausch and Lomb. Why not? But it's because it's the only game in town to the upside. And even, I'm looking at Morgan Stanley. It just broke support there. I know you were talking about stepping into some names yesterday. For me, I sort of mentioned I love TD, and that's where I decided to go, and a little bit dollar cost averaging is what we like to talk about. That's right back on its lows, and if you can see, hopefully my 15-minute. Oh, and I pulled it up in Toronto. But if you can see, it's breaking and heading towards possibly its weekly lows as well. So there's not much that you can hide in right now. I mean, long volatility is probably working out for you at least a little bit, or it's Bausch and Lomb. Everything else is
Bausch and Lomb.
heading to that. Actually, I'm in
or
DWAC.
Just short tech names.
DWAC was breaking out earlier on, and now it's pulling back. So it's up everything.
Bausch and Lomb. Yeah, actually, that is a pretty good one. Sometimes we're a little creative here on the show. So okay, let's still start talking about stocks again here, as that is the show. But okay, so right now, just to talk about JP Morgan, since we're talking about banks, JP Morgan, I mean, I feel like this is a good buy at $120. We hadn't dipped down too much below that. To me, if you want to get into a name, I can't hate on anybody for this one. JP Morgan, watch out for that 118 break. So this is sort of where I'd put my money. I'm also in Goldman as well. That has a 300 break attached to it there. So there are some opportunities here in these names. But again, where did my daily chart go? I think I might have just lost it. But the point is that you break through 300. We held 302 there the other day on Goldman. So I look to that as an area of concern for me. So Goldman Sachs down there near 300. I think there are some good support levels. Most of these banks, though, are paying between 2 to 4%. Let's call it maybe 2 to 3%. I think JP Morgan's is 3.3, something like that. I got corrected by the chat the other day. So I think you can hold them for dividends. But other than that, man, it is what it is with the banks. I think it's a good environment for them. It's just the market's fading. I mean, I'm now $2, guys, in the money. Apple is just cranking lower. Look where we're short here on Apple, just making these new lows here in this, not the session, but for the afternoon. So watch out for this 156 getting taken out right now on Apple. But it just keeps getting lower and lower here.
One of the most common questions we get around here is about breakout trades. We're going to give you 3 reasons to watch for when you're trading a breakout trade as to why it might fail. More often than not, especially nowadays, you get breakout trades. They go and then they come back and then they test the level and then they might come right back down and fail. So let's go, guys. Here comes 3 reasons as to why breakouts may fail.
I always like to give extreme examples to make a point. So I'm going to use maybe the most extreme example I could find today because I think it really illustrates the point as well as possible. Open Door actually had, and it gapped up on earnings, right? So this is the chart you're looking at. I understand you're going to see the end result of it. But if you look at the flush that the market had down here, and then you were gapping up on a decent earnings report, and you can see the high on the week is sitting here at about 820. You had the high yesterday on that ridiculous just charge at the end of the day there. You had it making that same top at 820. You had a pre-market high as well. And all three of these things just lining up and a decent response to the earnings. You got yourself a nice consolidation break. It's a double or triple top, depending on how you want to look at it. Made a hard bottom last week as well. Everything is lining up, but you do not want to punch long into overhead resistance. And that's why we always say when in doubt, zoom out. Because when I do this and zoom just a little bit further on the chart, oh, wait a minute. Oh, does that look just as good to you? Nah, not really, because when it tried to break out of this same range last time, which was gapping into it, it broke, tested up into 840, let alone 870, let alone 9 even, and failed abjectly. And it ran away from that price. So when you're looking at that breakout, it looks a heck of a lot different when you're not clearing through this level that it had rejected just a couple of weeks ago. So it looks fine on the higher time frame. As a matter of fact, it actually saved me like 30 cents because I bought the dip in here. I was going to have a 790 stop no matter what, and I stopped it out. But instead of paying up for the break, I actually took the consolidation, and then you see it stop, halted to the downside when it rejected that breakout. But don't punch long into overhead resistance. When in doubt, zoom out.
All right, so I like that. Tip number one, when in doubt, zoom out. I'm going to talk about time of day breaks, man. And this is when breakouts don't work. And I'm going to say time of day, right? And for me, that's going to be at the open. I mean, at the close, whatever. Hopefully you're not taking breakouts at the close as the market's about to close. But how about time of day? I've really started to, wake up to the idea that it's been so volatile right now in this market that if you're going to sit there and try to make plays, give yourselves some levels that you can trust. Do not make a play on a breakout in the first 5 or 10 minutes because the market could break the other way on you and then you're going to get absolutely destroyed, especially if you're in the tech names. I have an example here today with AMD. Normally, we would take pre-market high, which would be right into here, 94.50, or pre-market low breaks, right? Those have been trades that people say, hey, the stock is breaking out. Well, what do you mean by breaking out? It's breaking its range. So that's what we mean. So when you're talking about a pre-market range here, look what happens in the first minute. AMD opens up right here. It opens up high. So if you take this breakout at 94.50, you'd punch long right now. But it only goes up 50 cents. On a $95 stock, unless you're scalping and you're really quick, remember the market is nuts at the open, that's going to be up there for 50 cents. That's fine if you take it. But then look, the NASDAQ completely stops on a dime and turns around on you. Then it goes right back down to these pre-market bottoms, which is $93. So if you took this breakout at $94.50, the maximum you would have had today, and sure, I'm cherry picking, but I can go back and show you numerous days, and this is up to you watching this. Go back and look and say, how do these stocks work off the open? Well, there's a 50-cent win. If you hold it all the way to the bottom, and again, you probably get out when it breaks the bottoms, right? So that bottom right there would have given you a 93 out. So you'd actually would have lost $1.50 there, right? And then you'd be kicking yourself because it actually goes up the rest of the day. So for me, it's like, wait for these breakouts. Just the same way. If you're thinking short here today and you say, hey, once we break this bottom range, I'm going to go short. This is the pre-market, right? So if you go short once we break 93, look how low this goes. 92.70, you lose again on that trade. So you would lose on the long break, lose on the bottom break, but if you just waited for levels to develop throughout the day, then you might have been able to see bottom there, bottom there, bottom there. It bottomed 3 times. Then you can take that trade to the upside because it's given you a bottom. And just like right here, there's the top again. Wait. If you just wait to 10 o'clock, look how good this breakout is. You take the breakout of 95 and then you don't even look back. You can't even lose on that trade all the way to the upside. So, hey, that's my idea. Time of day, Brendan.
That, and I'll piggyback on that time of day idea and add another ingredient here, and that is volume. Guys, there has to be volume behind the move, especially during the midday, to make this a profitable trade. I'm going to pick on Lucid here today because there's a couple of great examples from today that we can kind of highlight here. I just highlighted the pre-market high that it tested twice here and failed at both times after that flush off the open. So we get the very Aggressive market move back to the upside. Lucid looks great, comes back to pre-market highs, even breaks this level. But look what's happening down here. Nothing. No participation. There's maybe one green candle there on the way up, and then the rest are mostly selling. And it comes up again, tests it again, fails again because no volume. There's no volume behind the trade. So make sure there's participation in the move that you're seeing, in the direction you're seeing before you jump in. There was a little move here that I wanted to highlight as well during the midday. So we had this tight consolidation during the midday against 1820, which was the high. It tested it twice and failed. I wanted to highlight this because there was a volume spike on the initial break, but look what happens immediately after that. So even if you take the trade, you get above that level, if volume dies off immediately and it just starts chopping around just above the level, that's an indication we might come back below the level immediately. So instantly you're out of the trade. If you're taking a breakout trade, it just has to go. Immediately has to go, and there has to be volume behind that. So 3 good points there, guys, on what to watch for to make sure your breakouts don't fail. All right, coming up in a few minutes here, I'm gonna get ready, because Miss Danielle Shea is coming through to talk about a crazy week. As I said, we'll get her take on the Fed. We'll get her take on what to look for going forward. If you have any questions for her, throw them in the chat now. Miss Danielle Shea coming up, guys.
That's right. Should be exciting. And look, to end the week, which has been about as volatile as you're going to get, I think it's perfect timing to have Danielle come back and maybe ask her some questions in there and get her perspective on what the markets have done throughout this earnings season, but also, you know, post-Fed, right? So I've been watching volatility, by the way, and there's a little bit of a, I guess, lull that we're seeing now. And I'm going to put UVXY up here because, you know, the last couple of sessions we've been basically testing major levels on UVXY, or if you're watching VXX, same thing. Today we actually don't see that. We're at the top end of the afternoon range, but this was yesterday's top, and we'll put a lower high in. And one of the reasons why you might think that maybe we're not going to hit those lows, unless we break back out to those tops, it's hard to imagine we're testing low of the day. So if you're in some short positions, you really need this to break back out if we're going to actually put in these bottoms. At least that's what I seem to think. And we've been holding a bit of a range as well. If you don't get out of that range, then you want to make sure you're scalping some things a little bit here and there. But gonna have the eye on volatility like we've been doing all week long. It's just par for the course. I am in this DWAC, by the way. DWAC and CFVI both spiked later in the day here, but it got to this level, and if we can't break out, then usually it's a fade. That's what you saw this morning. No breakout through 48, let alone 49, and we just faded that when it couldn't go. Probably not going to go much further than 46 at the bottom. You can see it has been support before in DWAC, but that'd be plenty of good enough if it were to get down there. Just playing the same old game. CFVI, if you missed the fade, like that actually popped and gave everything back. Like it was actually crazier because CFVI spiked at about 1 o'clock, went up to like 12.30, went $1, and has come pretty much all the way back in. You know, DWAC tends to hold its gains a little better for whatever reason, but I can think of the reason. But CFVI came all the way back, now red on the session.
I really like CFVI because remember, it still is that SPAC, so you're going to get that $10 anyways. So I feel like it's well worth the risk. Some of those moves on CFVI for sure. I was messaging, actually, my day just got 10 times better because A, golfing after this, and B.
You're still in the sweater, by the way.
Yeah, I'm still in the sweater. I was going to change into the golfing attire. Maybe I'll do that soon because I was doing the trade of the day and I was like, you know, do I want to, do that? And then B, my favorite guest is coming through soon, Danielle Shea coming through about that. And the funny thing is, our chats disappeared on Twitter. She can tell you this. Maybe I shouldn't give her this information because maybe I'm speaking with the fake Danielle Shea. So all of a sudden, like we were going back and forth in direct messages and stuff on Twitter, right? And then I don't know what happened to our conversations. They disappeared. I know, it's very shady, right? I'm going to talk to her about this.
And but this is exactly why Elon needs to come clean things up.
Exactly, right? I'm like, what, did Elon wipe our conversation here?
It's not going to happen when Elon takes over.
And then I was like, am I talking to the right one? Because she's like, we're just going back and forth. Anyways, apparently it was. So we're gonna clarify that. But anyways, a lot of fake accounts out there. So that's why I was like very weary if that was the real Danielle Shea, but she's going to come on. Yeah, it was. She's going to come on right now, or very soon. Very, very smart individual. And we'll talk to her all about options and about trading and so on and so forth. Yeah, look, as this market just continues to bleed today, I don't think it's rocket science that you hold these shorts into the close. But again, we're not overloaded or anything into the short. My only position that I have Bausch and Lomb, which is fantastic. That's now $1.20 in the money, so we're really happy with Bausch and Lomb. Still have that off IPO. And then, of course, we're still holding. Yeah, buddy, let's go to the downside. We'll go with Miss V right there. Superman is in the building. We'll try to go diamond hands on this one as well. I don't know why. It's because it's like I'm in jail there. I got the diamond. I don't know. But there we go.
That actually doesn't make sense.
It really doesn't make sense. What I like is just this one. Congratulations, although we're not trading Bitcoin. Anybody that's short Apple right now, it's been a wild ride for us today, and it continues to move southbound. So let's watch out for Apple. And then Bausch and Lomb, just a quick one. It just touched almost $20. We're long here off the open. So that might be a level right there that we're going to respect. If it comes back up to 20, we'll probably cash that out. Why not? I mean, it's its first day here. It's its birthday. And generally, birthdays are the best days. So we'll wait to see that up that 9% off IPO. Without any further ado, it's Brendan at the big desk.
All right, as promised, VP of Options at Simpler Trading, Miss Danielle Shea, back with us to have a wrap up. I like this because it's the end of a crazy week. It's the end of a few major events. Let's be honest, when it comes to the mega cap tech earnings wrapping up, the Fed behind us now. So let's jump right into things here, Danielle, because there's a lot to cover. Give us your take on the Fed. Obviously, we get what was expected, but what followed was a little bit different.
Well, I was looking for a little bit of a relief rally on the Fed, just mainly because, I just felt like the news was pretty priced in. And so I think that it made sense that there was a little bit of a relief rally, like, hey, this could have been a lot worse. This is what we expected. But I think the worst part that happened as it relates to this meeting is the move yesterday, because the move after the Fed, a one-day short squeeze, that could have turned into something more. We could have seen more buying. We could have seen a better rally off the lows, but it was just a one-day move. That reversal was completely nasty, especially when you look at the large cap names. You've got Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, all falling. And so, if those go, so go the market.
Actual trade setup here, though. Tell us a little bit, or walk us through, I guess, how you approach trading this event. Is it a, kind of one and done in the moment type of trade, or do you look to play some of those bigger names over the coming days?
So, after the Fed, I did trade the short squeeze higher. I just traded it in the spiders, just because that's generally going to be the easiest way to do it. You can also do it by picking the relative strength names, which are going to be Apple, Tesla, and Microsoft, but I just chose the index here. In this instance, I really hate to say it, but I just heard Sean say that he was shorting Apple, but I think that Apple, Microsoft, and Tesla down on the lows. If Microsoft breaks 270, if Apple breaks 150, we could see a Google-like, Amazon-like movement here. And so I'm watching those key levels on those major large cap stocks, and I've been shorting the Qs all year. If those stocks start to break, I'm just going to short it again. I'm going to try to trade the Qs down to 300, and then after that, we'll have to see if that level holds.
So we spoke a little bit about this last time we had you on the show, the fact that you've been kind of leaning on the short side ever since the beginning of the year, and great job on that, because, hey, all we've done since the beginning of the year is go straight to the downside, it seems. So going forward, is there still room, as you were saying, for some of these to, be a potential trade setup even now?
I do think that there's still room, because what we've seen happen to the former COVID darlings is what I call them. You've got Teladoc and Roblox and Roku, PayPal. Those stocks, of course, they went up so high, they needed to come down, but at some point they really started tanking, and that disease has kind of started to spread into the large caps. So, for me personally, when I'm looking at what I can do, obviously shorting on the lows is not the best decision ever, but at the same time, because we are on the lows, all it's going to take is one major gap down and we could have capitulation. So if that happens, I'm definitely going to keep shorting. You want to be careful here, but honestly, the best setup that I have had and what I've been watching is earnings. When you look at these former COVID stocks, a lot of them that are still losing money, they're getting absolutely trashed after earnings. And so I've just been trading the earnings calendar. You know, you can come in prior to the report, short them then, or if you want to wait till after, short them after. But for me, that's been the best catalyst, and it's kind of prevented me from, you know, shorting at the lows on the indexes.
On the other side of the story here, Danielle, is there something you're looking for, or what would it take, I guess, for you to see something specific that would say, okay, things have changed, maybe now we go back to the at least the top end of the range?
I would need to see the semiconductors come back to life. I mean, the semiconductors are really important market leaders. You've got NVIDIA and AMD down substantially on the year. I would need to see those really start coming back. I would need to see them break out of their downtrend. And I would need to see Apple, Microsoft, and Tesla hold the lows that they're on now and have actual buying coming in. I mean, what we've seen so far is just regular, continual selling. And you know, the value that you have in those stocks, I mean, it's massive, it's huge. And if you have one more day like yesterday, it's not going to take that much for us to continue sliding.
Your take on oil here. We haven't really touched on the energy market specifically. There's a lot of individual, you know, kind of catalysts with individual stocks. But I mean, it's hard to avoid this move that we've had in oil itself that continues to show all kinds of strength. Is there one or two names maybe in this group that are showing you that they are maybe worth a long at this point? If so, what are those? And then going into next week as well, what are you looking at? What's got you excited for, I mean, the market in general now that all these big events are behind us?
So, you know, when it comes to energy and oil, I mean, it's definitely really the only relative strength sector. So if you want to be long anything, I mean, it's got to be energy. My main problem with it is how much higher can it go? I'm looking at crude, and I think crude can go to 120 a barrel. So, I mean, that will definitely help, you know, Chevron, Exxon. I also like Marathon Petroleum. But a lot of these names are up on the highs. So, I mean, you can't really come in and buy them on a brand new high. If you want to be involved in the energy space, you're just going to have to wait until we get another pullback, until we get a better entry. So, I mean, I like it to the upside. I'm definitely not going to short energy here. I think it's really the only thing you can be long, but you have to get a good entry.
Hey, Danielle, what's up? Just quickly here, just for everybody, just come to my screen quickly if you can. We just reshorted Apple there. You inspired me, Danielle, so we got it just ripped up there. We reshorted it and we'll cash out on that one and do backflips just because we have Danielle on as well. What's up, Danielle? That was you on Twitter, right? Me and you going back and forth?
It was. I'm so glad that you were suspicious because, you know, there's so many fakers out there, and you never know. Because
you messaged me and said like you reported 4 fakers or something like that. And I was like, oh my God. So thank you so much for doing that. What I wanted to get to quickly, there's a lot of questions for you. And specifically, I had one, and you mentioned names like Teladoc, Peloton, Roku, some of those COVID darlings like you mentioned now getting beat down. My question for you is this. Options is such, honestly, for most of us anyways, really tricky. And I'm sure even, you know, when you were going through the motions of learning how to do it, you got to be very alert. You got to be on top of everything. So I like the call of trading into earnings. But I have the Teladoc chart up right now. This was earnings here from 60 bucks. And then we know what happened. I mean, it completely fell down. So maybe this is a bad example because if you had any sort of a put option on this, I don't even think it mattered what strike you had. You cashed out on this when you get like a 40 to 50% move down. But let's just say, for example, a stock like Peloton or whatever stock you want to talk about, to be completely honest with you, maybe that hasn't reported yet, but yet is so beat down. What kind of, you know, if you're going to report on a Wednesday, let's just say, do you play the weeklies? Like, would you buy a put or something or sell calls to something to be executed that Friday, like the weekly? And then what kind of targets do you look at? Strike prices, things like that, because some of these names are just so beat down that I myself am nervous shorting into a print from a quarter.
Hey, so those are great questions. And I will tell you that Teladoc was actually my best trade on the year so far. I bought I think they were Delta 50 puts. So, okay, let me go through these questions. First of all, I will tell you that buying outright puts on earnings, it doesn't work very often. It's only going to work in the instance that the ticker completely tanks like Teladoc did. But this quarter in particular, I mean, stocks have been tanking left and right after earnings, which is why it's been working. So I do want to caution people that, you know, you have to be careful with it, but this is how you kind of get around it. So options, they increase in value going up to an earnings report, right? This is called the increase in implied volatility, the increase in IV. So what you will see when you're looking at an options chain is you will see that the implied volatility is the absolute highest the week of earnings. When you're buying options, you don't want to buy incredibly high IV, because what happens is the report comes out and that IV gets crushed. What that means is that, let's say the option's worth $5. Let's say then the report comes out, well, now the option's actually worth $2.50. So the only way that you can make money on it is if the move in price makes up for that implied volatility crush. So when I'm buying options on earnings, which again has to be done when something you really think it's going to just get destroyed, you want to go the next week out. So, you know, if there's an earnings report next week, you want to short it, don't buy it in that series. Look at the next week. And I buy the Delta 50s because they're slightly out of the money, but they're close enough to where the price is, which makes them cheaper. But ideally what happens is the stock falls and then it goes in the money, and you also don't get as much IV crush because you're not in the earnings series. Now, if you want to sell options, you absolutely want to do that in the earnings series because you're trying to take advantage of the implied volatility crush. So like DKNG, for example, I sold calls on it yesterday, but those were expiring today. And I bought puts on it, but those are expiring next week.
For DraftKings there, you see the high was $66, down that 7%. A quick question I just asked the audience here. What about scalping options? Like, do you know, if you were to, let's just say you had, you know, 10 calls or something like that, is there a spot where you say, do you get out of them all at once? Do you sort of leg them out? I guess this is sort of, it's not a great question because it's going to depend on, I guess, the time frame that you have for those options. But do you recommend for traders to sort of have targets in mind when that's hit, you just get out? Because even when I'm trading options, you get that greed factor all the time. And it's like, oh yeah, you know, like I'm 100% in the money, but if this just moves down 50 more cents, I'll be 200% in the money. Like, how do you deal with that? For me, when I'm trading, it's like if I have 100 shares, it hits my target, I'll try to get out of like 80 of them and then hold 20. So try to hold 10 to 20% as an example. Do you ever do anything like that where you say, hey, I just hit that home run, but let's wait for maybe a little bit of an extended move and maybe you'll hold 10 or 20%?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, scaling is really important because you do have that greed factor that takes over. And especially with options, I mean, the problem is they expire, right? And so, I mean, you could be up 100% and then you're trying to make 150 and then all of a sudden you're at a break even. So, I mean, I personally have price targets between 25 and 100%. So typically, and especially in this market, because it's so volatile, I've been trying to stick to around the 50, 60% range. But when I get that, if it's still going in my direction, if I'm sitting right here and I'm monitoring it, I'll kind of like hold it and let it keep going. But it's perfect to scale out because that way you already paid yourself. You can let the runner run, and it's just a much more disciplined approach to trading.
Danielle, I'm not sure if, again, thank you for the great answer. I'm not sure if I've asked you this before, if you have kids or not, but I'm going to say happy Mother's Day anyways to you and to yours. So thank you once again for coming on the show and providing so much information, so much valuable information to everybody. I'm going to throw you back to Brendan, but happy Mother's Day, Miss Danielle Shea.
Thank you so much.
Great point. Well said. Yes. Happy Mother's Day, Danielle Shea. Quickly before we let you go, is there, I mean, we are through the big ones as far as earnings are concerned. Is there one or two maybe next week that you kind of have starred on your board in front of you there?
You know, I wish I had an answer for you. I didn't finish my watch list yet. I feel really silly, but you know what? Next week, especially in this month, I did look at the month ahead and we have a ton of cloud computing companies that are coming up, cybersecurity. those are the ones, oh, and the former IPOs, those are the ones that I'm really going to be doing my in-depth research on. I usually Friday and Mondays when I do all of my research. So I'm going to be compiling that list on Monday. And you know what? I'll post it on Twitter. How about that for the earnings destruction ideas for next week?
VP of Options over at Simpler Trading. We appreciate you being flexible this week with your scheduling. We know you're busy. Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend.
Great stuff. As always, lots of interesting ideas there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you know what I actually loved about was the scalping and scaling sort of question there. I think that's something that's important for everybody because, you know, we can talk about entries and exits and reasons to get in trade or catalysts, but sometimes it's really more about how do you manage it and how do you get over that need to get out of some shares. As the market did a little bit of a pop there, and I had like 2 positions on.
Multitasking.
And then it's like, okay, I got more Virgin Galactic, I got into Rivian, I got into Peloton, I got into Fubo, I'm still holding on to DWAC. Like the market, like I know you got into Apple, but now we're starting to roll back over, so. Yeah, short the pops is kind of what we're doing here, and it's working. And until it doesn't, you got to keep doing it.
Look at this, man, multitasking. As we were talking with Danielle Shea, threw in a couple trades here and there, a couple more shorts on Apple, guys. It went right in. This is as we were talking with her. Boom right there, boom right there again. Back-to-back jacks, and now Apple is downside, man. Okay, there we go. We take it another piece right here as Apple continues its move down, man. There it is. Look at all these shorts on Apple. Today is a good day. The reason why we asked Danielle Shea about scalping in and out, that's exactly what I do. So there it is down to the downside right there. Apple just back into that level. Ooh-wee. We just put on this short, man, 157.40. It's $1 in the money in 2 minutes right there. So a nice little move to the downside there. And thank you to Danielle Shea for coming on again. I'm going to be looking out for that watch list because, Neil, that makes a hell of a lot of sense, man, what she was talking about there. Trade the names that have got beat. I mean, what is the honestly, I'm going to ask this question. I don't know the answer. Maybe you could think of one off the top of your head. But, like, what's the last COVID darling name, like she was mentioning there, that actually reported and went up? I mean, I'm thinking about DoorDash.
Gapped up and held up, though?
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
It's
like,
one thing to gap up, it's another thing to hold.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe you guys in the chat would know that. I mean, I don't know, Spotify's getting destroyed.
You saw Dash this morning, it kind of like, I know, actually, Dash wasn't even all that good. Like it crushed as well. Like I can't think of anything.
I don't know, but I think that's a great point. I think like that's kind of the great point there. You know, it's like look for the names that have gotten beat down like that.
And on top of that, for all of those names, it doesn't take much. Like you don't even have to have a good report for them to go up. The bar is so low, so when they get squashed, it's telling you something about this market. Roku did?
No, that's opposite.
We're talking the other direction, man. We're talking something that actually was strong. I mean,
okay, so there is.
I'm not going to fall for that, but anyways, I don't think it was.
No, but maybe. I mean, look, honestly,
maybe it was.
Nicola, and I'm not talking about EV names. EV names are not like COVID darling, man. EVs are names that have come. They happen to come during this time, but that's why she also did say recent IPOs. She's not going to be wrong, man. I mean, we could talk about Palantir that I own, Clover. I own Clover as well. I mean, as many stocks as I talk about, like, oh, I'm long Apple from 20 years ago, many of us are, but I'm long Clover from a year ago and down like 100%. So there's a lot of names that all of us.
In fairness, and I said this
Virgin
morning,
Galactic,
and I didn't say that, like I didn't say it on the chat because I don't understand. Like people are caught at the top, and I understand that. So a lot of times you don't want to get too snide about it. But Brennan and I had a conversation, and I think a few guys on the floor that were in. And when you see something like this, here's the truth and here's the reality. Everybody was partying when things like this went up, man. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend on the pandemic bottoms that buying, like I bought some Boeing and some decent companies. There is a 0% chance that made more money than buying Pinterest and Virgin Galactic and what else was a good one? Silvergate was really good last year. Like, those were great. However, when they go from $10, $15 and you're sitting 50s, like every single time I got out of this thing, it was way too early. Yeah. Right? And yeah, sure, did I hang on to a little piece because I want to go to space one day? Sure I did. But but I do want to go to space. And on top of that,
what are you going to do, like bring your stock certificate?
Well, maybe I will.
That's what I'm saying. It's not a bad idea.
So Brad made a comment that kind of irked me because he said if someone gave me a free ticket, he wouldn't go on that trip.
But he didn't even cite that it was a safety thing either. Like,
free.
I understand why people wouldn't want to go
to
to
It's like $100 grand. Like, okay, I understand if you're afraid of heights or if you don't think it's safe enough. I get that, man.
Deal on that one.
Yeah, like, and don't get me wrong. Like, they have a lot of things they got to figure out. I've been shorted, and I said this. The last position I will have today, hopefully, will be the last thing I will cover will be my Virgin Galactic short. Like, that one was an all-day trade, and it's not at the lows right now, but it's probably going to get there anyways. If the market goes to the bottom, then space has gone to the bottom. It only broke its low. I guess the 52-week low only got broken this morning.
Right.
It didn't even gap through on that delay. So some of these names have been heavily beaten up, but there was ample opportunity. Not once did it get up to $60, but twice it got up there. And most of these names are exactly the same thing. They didn't make one top in 2021. They made two tops in 2021. And it's a lot of pain if you bought at that top. No one ever went broke taking profit. That's truth is truth, man. And speaking of big things that are next week, not just earnings as a catalyst. We keep talking about Rivian having the lockup expiration. So I shorted the pop here. It failed 30 and I missed it. So now it's like turning at 29.50 on that last little pop, and I shorted it. I'm going to play the range here. Peloton as well, pretty weak. But, man, if this market takes out the lows again.
I could rock with you console wars there. I see. Stop console wars. Yeah. Which console do you like the most? I agree with you. Fast food is also technically a COVID darling. And the reason why.
Is that fair?
I think so.
I guess so, maybe.
I think so. A lot of people ordering in, things like that. If you look at its stock, like Shake Shack, just because they did report, so we can definitely have a look at their stock. If you watch what they did here off 2020 bottoms, just straight to the upside, they had that high of 135, and then look today, all the way down here to $54. So I believe there are a few names like that that did hit it. There it is coming to the bottom there, and then the rally back up, and then now back down. When remember, a lot of restaurants were closed. So people unable to eat out. So fast food became, go out, pick it up on your way home from, I don't know where you were going at that time, but, fast food, again, DoorDash, things like that. I could mess with that. I believe that is. Food delivery, what's up, Playmaker? Yeah, all those things were all good COVID names there. And then someone also said that EV was probably an election play. And yeah, that's true. Just like marijuana, what's up to Kamala Harris
So
there.
was US Steel. You're in Newport, but
right.
When I bought US Steel, it was an election play more than anything else, and that's why I probably didn't hold enough of it, because I wasn't really there were lots of things I bought that were defensive last year, because I was like I was way too early in thinking that inflation was too high, and so probably missed out on some of the top. But for me, US Steel was way more of with a Build Back Better, and when the election came through, thinking that was going to be a big catalyst. It just turned out to extend higher because of what we're seeing with metals and whatnot. And speaking of which, if you got them, hold on to them. We're headed back down again. We'll do one of these. Rivian now working back to the downside. I mentioned I got into Fubo to the short side of the trade. And anything that was barcoding that was rolling over that just bounced, I wanted to short the pops because it's been this slow trend back into the downside. Fubo's down 20% on the session and actually holding a little bit of strength here. But that's the chart. This is the one. And I'm not even going back far enough. This is the one, man. Fubo TV.
Yeah, that's a disaster.
60-3.
That's a COVID play too,
That's
right?
a COVID play as well. And the earnings didn't work out today.
There it is, man. We will finally, I don't know, Prad's going crazy over there for some reason. Let's just go like this. We'll walk on some water right now as Bausch and Lomb, great company, nothing against them. Obviously, there's a lot of people talking about them as a company on the chat, but there it is right there. I'm going to get it out. We touched 90 again there, so shout out to anybody long here on Bausch and Lomb, but I'm out right there at 1990, so, that's going to be a play for me. Out. I just don't need to see it again. It dipped back into this area. I was going to get out anyways if we took down the 50 period. That never happened. So Bausch and Lomb, we are out. Brendo.
This RADI, guys, keeps popping up here on volume scanner, but struggling, I guess, at 1480. This was that one that was exploring anything and everything, including a sale of itself. So watch 15 here, some volume coming back into RADI.
Ratty.
Yeah, I keep waiting for it to make another test at 15 even. I guess if I try it a third time on BDCO or whatever, BLCO, that $20 was pretty interesting. If it gets there again, we'll see. But it's so strong. This is, anytime it's deal speculation or shopping themselves or whatnot, it's a little bit different, just sort of blankly fading it because the news is going to give you a bit of cover, especially on a Friday for those types of that type of news. That's why I want to stay away from it. I'm just hanging on to what we got. And DWAC, if you didn't play it off of the 48 the first time, it just gave another wick high a few minutes ago off that 48, and now it's kind of reversing back into the south end. If you guys see something that's not BLCO that is strong, I'm not seeing it. I did mention NEO has
AMD.
AMD, yeah, I mean, AMD's got some relative
It's
strength.
up today. Can you believe that?
Well, you know, remember this morning when AMD put in a little bit of strength? I had a few scalp longs on this, on AMD, and it put in some strength. There was one move on AMD and almost everything.
Yeah.
I want to say it was AMD,
Yeah,
it was
I was in
NVIDIA,
it.
it was just about everything. And then
Nice.
Microsoft did this. Oh, now this wick's going to screw it up. Oh, that's annoying.
That's a daily, right?
No, yeah,
Oh,
no, this is a 3 minute. It's
that's
kind of messed
Microsoft,
up.
Yeah.
Okay, what I'm trying to get at is Microsoft was, everything was about after 10 o'clock, and there was a big spike up and a lot of names were starting to run. And Softy was looking super strong off the lows, off the 271. And by the way, that 270 Danielle's talking about, I'm watching that as well. Like if 270 goes on Softy, that's like a kaputz level, like we talked about with Apple, 150, like those types of things, it's ugly for the market. But Softy got up, was breaking back out, and then put in this wick top. And this was legit. Somebody said when this got up above 77, no moss, not going to happen, big monster sell. You can see the volume spike it put in. The biggest volume spike that was not the open. Somebody dumped Softy, headed everything back to the downside. Now it's showing some strength. So I'd love to see it close above 277. That'd be a really strong sign because that's where whomever was doing the selling decided to absolutely dump it. And if you hold something like this, then you have a chance that next week we can break out. But we're inside the range for Softy. It's been relatively weak for most of this week. So you want to see this one hold some of these key levels. Miss V?
Hey guys, we've got a super chat from Dominic Famularo. By the way, happy birthday, Dominic. Wish you all the best. And Dominic actually says, Neil, FNKO. Guys, Funko is up on the day, 26%. And actually, average volume is 500,000. And today we have 4 million volume on FNKO.
Funko. Oh,
Well, it's not. Did
Did I
Valerie
hear
say
happy birthday?
Was it Dominic's birthday? Oh, okay.
It's
Happy
your
birthday,
happy
Dominic.
birthday, Dominic.
All right. Whatever.
You should have said something, brother.
We must have on the midday show, but happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday,
Happy birthday to
man.
all our viewers if
Yeah.
it's your birthday.
Anybody, if it's your birthday, let us know, man. You get the shout
It's
out
your
for sure.
birthday.
Don't
Go
be shy
shouty.
about it. I
It's
might be
your
shy about
birthday.
how old I'm
Go
getting,
shouty.
but do
It's
your
your
thing.
birthday.
We gon' party like it's your birthday.
birthday.
We gon' sip. Anyways, and let's not. It's only 3:11. It gets a little bit later.
T minus 45, 50 minutes till I'm in my car heading to the golf course. So
I'm surprised you guys are
That's how
talking
dedicated
about
we are,
course.
man. Me and Brendan are going to stick this out. So
No,
our
you're not.
tea time is for.
Greg's leg is shaking, and he's
Yeah,
like,
Greg's
yeah.
getting ready to book out.
His
Well,
leg
we're
is
going to miss
shaking.
our tea time. Our tea time is 40 minutes, so it's 4:40. And I'm telling you, it takes at least 40 minutes to drive where we are. So we're going to probably be teeing off about 10 minutes late.
It takes
Whatever,
me, it takes
10
me
minutes
50 minutes to get from here to the Gardner, sometimes.
No, but it's.
Let alone where you're going.
We're going. No. We're going near my house. Like,
Oh,
I know
yeah,
how.
it's back out your way.
I know.
No,
I know
it's
how
not
long.
that bad getting your direction.
No. I got. It'll be fine.
Anyways, Funko is super strong. I think it's like it was Iger and a bunch of other people that are looking to take a stake in here, and they got some unlocked potential when it comes to NFTs. They consider it undervalued. This did a big time shakeout. So, look, if you want to see, we talk about what happened at the open and how ridiculous this was to the sell side. Like you were gapping up. Super strong name, one of the strongest in the market, and it shook the crap out of everybody at 1950. I wish I had realized that this actually recovered. That is a super strong move. What you have is a wipeout bottom on huge volume, which then it gets the weak hands out, right? So it traps people in the short, A. B, it gets a lot of the longs out, which means less people on the offers. It grinds higher, but super strong. This is not something to be faded today. Like I'm not. Like Dominic, I hope you didn't say that to think this is something you'd fade because you have all the signs of a ridiculous turnaround. So glad you saw this one. Ride it to the long side. Maybe you got a trail, but it's nicely linear to the upside. And if it's linear to the upside and has everything about it bullish catalyst, bullish open, then you don't want to fight it. If it goes parabolic at any point and does just one move too far, maybe into 22, that would be something you could trade. But this is more, if you got it long, there is zero reason it's presenting you with to get out.
So I'm going to go like this. Shooter McGavin, he's in the chat, baby. Shooter McGavin right here. Always be early up to the box. That's not going to happen. And play from the tips. All right, we'll play from the tips. I don't think they're that far on this course, but there it is. We'll play from the tips. Thank you, Shooter McGavin. Hopefully everybody knows where that alias is from. Of
course they do.
I'd hope so. That's for sure. But yeah, good. Well, we're just going to have a good time anyways when we go there. Hopefully, I think it gets dark like around 8-ish, 8:30-ish. So hopefully we'll be able to get a few in there. We'll take a picture. I'll follow on Twitter for all of that. Okay, so just to notice here, Apple again. You know, it got right into 156. Man, I mean, we touched 159 today to the upside. It just touched 156. We're gonna get ready to rock and roll. We do have the imbalances, of course, coming out at 350. So that's something to watch out. And I don't want to be in Apple into the imbalances. We've already learned. You know, yesterday it worked out. The day before that it didn't. And the imbalances, of course, are exactly that, market on close orders that we can't have any control over. You guys, we try to go back and forth with what we expect it to be, and we will do that. Just an update there. I know, I saw actually, shout out to Elizabeth, I see you on the chat as well. You said sort of Bausch and Lomb's been sleeping. I mean, I think it's been actually a great trade today, especially if you've followed some technicals straight there to the upside. So I only have one trade on, and this is pretty much, and I know Elizabeth's watched for a while. I know a lot of you guys have as well. But, you know, Neil and I both just took the opening print. So other than that, there was really no trade there. I feel like 19 was a good trade. So for me, that would have been good, and you're up $1 from there. So I feel like it was pretty good today, Bausch and Lomb, and we'll see about it on Monday. I was going to say on Friday. That's today. On Monday, happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. If I keep forgetting to say that back and forth. So anyone out there that's watching, you know, say what's up to your mother, or if you are one, happy Mother's Day as well for that. Wow, DraftKings down to $13. We could definitely look at that. The trade of the day was Facebook, man. I still wish we were short. We shorted up here. That's my best out rate there from a 209 out at 206, and then we got in and out there, and not much. I don't know what I was doing there, but in and out, and then now Facebook right back into these levels that we supported earlier on some of our past shorts. So we still should be short. I'm happy to be short Apple, $1 in the money off of a couple reloads there, but for right now, this name continues to move downside, man. Facebook. And we talked about giving up the ghost on some of these positions. Facebook already did that, right? I mean, they've already had their flush on the 1 day down here to 170. It's just kind of like when Apple, we were saying if Apple ever takes it down, like it would have sort of been like this level here. You had no chance to trade this because earnings were so bad. But like there's that 250 level. When that broke, we started to make new bottoms. So let's go over to Softy, like we keep mentioning here. And here's that 270. I mean, it's going to look real dirty in here because there hasn't been much going on, just back and forth. But there's that level that we're talking about, 270. We have broke it before. But yeah, if you don't hold that 270, then this could be a problem. And guess what? We're not that far away right now. So that could even break today. It has held, though, today. It went down to 271 and change. So I'm sort of thinking here on the minute chart. Now, yeah, there's those nasty wicks that we were talking about. It's going to be hard to look this morning. But we did hold that 271. So I think we'll probably look for a short here in Microsoft, but it's going to have to bounce up a little bit more. Otherwise, if this keeps fading down, man, watch out for that 271. Down 2% and getting nastier. I can't be more happy with these trades, though. We reloaded Apple, man. We still could be short from here, but every time we reload, it just reloads our position. So nice move to the downside. Apple looking to take down 156.
Yeah, it's one of these. Ride. That is a very, very fast bear. Like I guess
bears are super fast.
Bears are fast.
Yeah.
Actually, there's the old adage, right? That you don't. With Michael Noss actually said it. Was it him this morning talking about you don't have to beat the bear in a race. You just have to beat the person that you're with. Because if you get attacked by a bear, I think it was him saying it this morning, and that's my.
What if you're by yourself?
If you're by yourself, you're screwed.
People say that you're just supposed to lie down and like play.
You know what's weird about that? I remember learning this when I was in Cub Scouts.
I don't know if I could do that.
But yet I've retained absolutely none of it. So if I ever get caught in a bear attack, then you guys are going to see a lot of Arun because I forget what I'm supposed to do. But we are supposed to hold on to our shorts. Just got the first out in Peloton there, 15.20, then in front of 15. Fubo as well, starting to come down a little bit. It just got to VWAP and broke VWAP. So when I shorted the curl, going to get on the bid to see if we can't get this one out. Virgin Galactic has yet to break 75. Once it does, we'll start taking it off. However, I said that I'm not going to take any longs. and then promptly,
longs?
well, I didn't really think it, like at 315 or 318 it is now, that we'd already be at 13 on DraftKings. So here I am on the bid in front of 13, which is coming very quickly. So I got 11s. I'll probably take some more down in the 2 to 3 range. But DraftKings is on its way to 13 even. It feels like any trade or any low is possible in this particular market.
Looking at 94.50 here with AMD. I mean, debating putting on the short and then protecting that 94.50. Like, could have just done it right there. Should have. Let's do that. Let's look for an AMD bounce and then put some shares on here. Okay. That's a nice bounce. Just went in the 20s there. We'll offer that 20. There it is. And then we'll look for this short. I got to put the stop order in right now. We're gonna get out if it breaks. I mean, that's 94.60. Yeah, let's go okay. Let's go 94.60 on a break here of AMD because again. Okay, here it comes right back down in. I mean, we're only 10 cents in the money, but we're going to find this out right now to see if this can win or not. So right now, 94. It's bouncing off 94. That's kind of been a bottom right there. We ticked that bottom earlier. We'll put a bid at 94. We're short at, what am I short at here? 22s right now on AMD. Just let's zoom in. I mean, we were short earlier, AMD here. We got out of the way, thank God, when that broke to the upside. But right now, AMD, again, it's strong. The reason why I'm short this name is because we have this 94.50 level here. And it looks like it will probably, like, again, on a strong move up, AMD is going to rock it up. It's relatively strong today. We can all see that. It's actually green into that move. And Neil said, what's strong today? I said AMD, then I go over to short it. But I want you to understand the reason why. This is not it's not a huge position. All we're trying to do right now is stack up, some of the cash that we've already made. We're, again, we had one negative day this week. We're back. We were off last week. We're back this week. One negative day. We're going to go 4 for 5. And I'm not planning on turning this day anything different. So, we'll give this one, again, 20 cents upside. Breaks 94.50, we're gone. So that way, if it comes down to 94, we'll take one piece out and then go 1-to-1 on the risk, right? Like if I get a 94 bid, which maybe I'll get here, that's already 1-to-1 risk to reward. I like to look at it. I like to take trades like 2-to-1. I'm not someone that is going to hold something forever. As you guys know, I will, and that's why I asked that question to Danielle, because I like to hold that 10 or 20%. But if I can get out a 20% right now for that 1-to-1, then we'll do that. And then hopefully, like I said, if the market does bleed the rest of the afternoon, and just like I think it's going to be small cuts. Like I don't know if it's going to to the downside here, but we could just start to drip down. I mean, I hope so. I'm short 2 names here, but I don't really.
I can't believe I took a long.
What do you have a long in? I'm long in BBIG.
DraftKings of all things, man.
Oh, but you're against the level, though.
I know.
That's fine.
I'll say this. I love this community. I've said it over and over again.
Yeah.
However, I feel like there is some pretty questionable advice being given on the chat here as to how to survive a bear fight. Some of it's okay, like Arun let Arun fight the bear. That's probably all right.
No, it's not. That's not all right. Arun will get destroyed by a human. Is not dealing with a grizzly bear.
Don't worry about Arun, bro. I'm just kidding.
No, I'm just saying. Do not take advice on how to survive from traders.
Because that's the funny thing is traders are pragmatic, man. Like you honestly think traders aren't putting themselves in a situation to actually fight a bear.
Justin. Hey, Justin, if you're watching this, I think Justin seems like he's a guy that might have even fought a bear before. So, Justin, if you are listening, which he often does, get out here, my man. I want to see if that man has fought before, because shout out to Lumberjack Nation.
That's right.
Me and Justin. What's up, buddy? What's up, Brendo?
Fed's barking, guys, saying not ruling out support for a 75 basis point hike, which caused that little flush there back to the downside. So again, Barkin saying 75 basis point hike getting support, guys.
Do I even bother waiting for 13 to break? I have my stop in, so I'll wait for 13 to break on DraftKings. Like I'm sitting here with only shorts, and then put one log in, and then that comes.
And of course, I just put on the AMD. I've shorted the wrong name here. Market's going down here, and I'm like losing. Well, my AMD trade is flat. whenever I put trades on the way it's been working, I feel like they should just go instantly in the money. Yeah, right now, we're not averaging into this one. We know our positions. We know what we're doing. If this takes out that 94.50, we're going to be gone out of that trade. A little higher than 94.50, but that's what we're looking at right there. Maybe not for AMD right now to the upside. So
that's crazy.
yeah, okay, just a review there. Bausch and Lomb, we're out. BBIG, nice positive stock for us today. Did it moon? No, it did not moon. But BBIG today, we talked about this on the midday show. My first ins were right here. And again, we talked about trading pre-market, very dangerous, but we did play in here. Once it broke that level, I didn't want to get out. Why? Because we were using 3 as our backstop. So when it came back down, we averaged into 305. Then our average price, same amount of shares. So in at 305, in at 335, giving us an average price of like 17 or 18, something like that. So when it came back in, that's my, that's it. So that's my flat trade at 18. Then we got out at 21. Then it started to rip up 25, 28s, 29s, out at 30 again. Then we went right back into these pre-market highs. I took that out, and we were talking about that on our show, that out. And I was like, you know what? That's probably a good short. Should have listened. And right now you're seeing we have 10% left of this name, back down in right now, back down to 315. Maybe a reload if we get back down to $3, but for me, no, I'll wait. Don't need to trade this right now. But if it gets back to $3, you guys may want to reload it and then look at those bottom wicks. 295. So a 295 out would make some sense to me if that's something you're looking at. But holy Neil, it's disco ball time.
It's over. Yeah, that long is gone. And the funny thing about it is,
why is
when
AMD
that news dropped, I was like, I could just hit 1301 instead I waited for 13 to break and use a stop order. But everything is falling. 29 just got destroyed. Rivian had size on 29. That got destroyed too. It's all going to the downside here. However, the futures aren't at the actual low, so that's about all we have left to hold on to. But yeah, we're probably going to be sitting in these shorts until the imbalances because once again, that's a weird thing to drop at 325 on Friday after the week that we've had. But, nothing to see here, I suppose.
No, nothing to see here in the market. Yeah, so AMD, I can't even get this thing to go down. If we just shorted Facebook at the same time, we'd be $1 in the money right now. So yeah, I'm a little grumpy right now for sure. Just picked the wrong name, and it's my bad. I mean, we said what was relatively strong. I looked over and was like, yeah, AMD is relatively strong. Yeah, so let's short it. Like, it's so stupid. But again, it was against this 94.50. It just technically set up. The difference between Facebook was, that's AMD again. The difference between Facebook, it's just, sure, it's a falling sword here, falling knife, but I didn't really have any levels. I mean, we weren't here. If we were here, we could have shorted it. We were right here. So it was like, I kind of didn't have a good out there, but I guess we could have used that as our out. Facebook falling down. Come on, give me this, man. AMD, I might just have to take 12 cents. Nah, let's give me some 94 bids here. Hopefully AMD can come back in. A little push for this would be nice, and that's what I'm looking for right now. AMD coming back down into the downside. We do have imbalances. Come on. Oh, all right. All right. You know what?
How was Virgin Galactic?
I just put a bid at 7 and it ran away again. Okay, hopefully we'll get a bid here. Otherwise, man, get me on this golf course.
Who's on the bid of Virgin Galactic? Whatever, it's the algos, but it's like this won't even, if this breaks 670, it should be done. Like, it's not falling. I don't understand. Like, everything else is rolling over. As I look at it, DWAC's not falling. That's got a little bit of pep to its step, I suppose. Sometimes things have gone down so far. Maybe Virgin Galactic's just, it's too beaten up for there to be sellers en masse down here. But there's some buying in DWAC at least happening in front of 47, but I've already scalped that. If this takes out these lows, I'm trying to hold out till 350 for some of the shorts and then see if we can get into those imbalances. If it doesn't hit the stop, then I think we're going to be okay. But some of the other names out there, like I know this is the first time that I think we made it this late in the day without even talking about Tesla. Like, look at the ledge some of these things are on. Like Tesla, right at this 855, 856. We roll over here, it's going to get real dicey on the market. And to go back to volatility, like look at UVXY. Look at this recent top. This is yesterday's high. This is that 1850, 1855 area. Like, if this breaks out, that's the same thing as like Tesla sitting on a shelf, or some of these names sitting on support. UVXY sitting on resistance. Like, we're hanging on by a thread, but that cuts both ways. Right? Like if we pull back UVXY, if we bounce off the bottom on Tesla, bounce off of, I don't know, pick another name out there that's sitting on one of those lows, then you could actually have a bit of a relief rally. So as much as hold on to your shorts and try to take profit, we can reverse in a heartbeat. We've seen it happen before. And all it takes is like one little dump there on UVXY, one little bounce on Tesla, which is, as I say that, is starting to bounce. So might want to take a little bit more profit out on some of these shorts.
All right, all right. There's AMD, out of AMD. I mean, again, the market rallied back up. That's fine. No love lost on that one. The market did rally, so it's a nice move back up. It is an L, though. So we'll go down and toilet. We talked about that. Instead of stacking up some cash, we gave some back there. But still pretty good, though. We gave back about 10% of our day, just to tell you the kind of net that we gave back there. So that sucks, but still what that is. Now Brendan pays for the beers. That's all. It's very, very, very simple. So that's that as we go.
Does he know that?
Does he know that, Brendan? Where's Brendan?
What am I doing?
I said I just gave back 10% of my day, so you're buying the beers.
Deal.
That's it?
Brendan's just happy that he's drinking the beers. I think that's all it is.
You give back 10% more often.
He just doesn't care.
No, it's funny because
easy.
we just had a message back and forth. We forgot to do a beer run, so we have to buy them on the course. But of course, you always buy beer on the course, right?
Inflation.
You never sneak it on.
You do that?
No, never. I would never do that. I mean, why would you do that ever?
That's not the thing that you would sneak onto the course.
No,
I'll leave it at that.
No, I don't know. That's
I'm probably not supposed to say that.
That's about the only thing I would be sneaking onto the course. Okay, now it's downside move. I'm not going to be shorting. What I'm thinking about doing right now is just reloading a Facebook. We might have just missed it there. Facebook came right up to that 50 period. This is the level that I said I liked, up to 204. So I think it's worth it here. Maybe we'll see if we can get that beer money back quickly here and short a little bit into that Facebook right now. 204 and change right there. If we can get it on Facebook would be our out, but anything into here would be pretty nice, man. 203.60, 203.70, what's the bottom? 208. The market is probably going to head to the downside. Do we have an update on any market on close and balances right now? It's 3:30. Those are coming in about 20 minutes, so that could be a little bit of an area of concern. We may have a concern on that. All right, here comes Facebook right now. We'll short. So, I missed a short right there. We try to get 75s. I'm sitting there. There it is. Now we're short 75. Just so you see, like, how honest is that? Telling you the trades and now getting it right back in. Okay, Facebook, let's see what we could do here. A little bit of a dance to the downside would be nice. But again, watch out for these futures. That bottom is... if I can get this down to 03, we'll take it for sure. And there it is, right down to the downside right now. 15 cents in the money. Remember, we lost 30 cents or so on AMD, so we got to at least make that back here on FB. So short 203.75. Let's give it to like this 204.25 area. This may be an expensive beer run for Brendo if I lose again right now. 204.25 right there, seeing about giving some back. Let's go to the downside for this move here on Facebook. But the futures... I don't like going short. This is why it's not very many shares. I don't like going short if we're starting to break above some of these periods, and that's a 50 period right there. So watch out there on the short side for that trade.
You got to look to what is your stock doing? Like, this is what Peloton short is doing. It's right back to almost flat. So I have to consider, getting that stop and making sure that we don't get stopped out. But Rivian, do get stopped out and don't hold too far against us. But Rivian is barely bouncing. So this feels a little bit safe. I feel better about that. Virgin Galactic, which couldn't break VWAP, and I did say, like I said it, but it's kind of ridiculous to ignore what it's doing, that I hold on to this at least. It can't break VWAP. Look at the floor it's put in. If this takes out like a 685, there's no need to be in this one either. So we'll make sure that we ring the register. It was a great short this morning, but you can't hang on to past glory. And the truth of the matter is, it's relatively strong right now. As much as I hate to say that, it's actually true. Rivian, of everything I'm in right now to the south side, Rivian easily looks the weakest, and it's not even close. Even DWAC is bouncing to the upside here. That takes out the high, and there's just no need to be in it, obviously, as well. So not a bad bounce in the market. I kind of said if we reversed, Tesla made a bounce there, UVXY made a reversal off of 1850, and next thing you know, you're bouncing to the upside. And we've seen this happen before. 15 minutes to those imbalances. And if they come to the buy side, maybe the sellers have gone home, right? A lot of times, like, the relief in either direction is the opposite of what had happened or the sentiment in the market. And it feels like we've been doing a lot of selling this week. So, It wouldn't be crazy.
There's nothing wrong with that
You wouldn't need a lot of volume to get it back to the upside is what I'm trying to get at here because of what's happened up to now.
Okay, so here comes Facebook right back down. We go bang, bang, bang. 30 cents in the money already there. It better not go any further because then I got to buy my own beer. Here we go. Let's go to the downside. Yeah, buddy. Facebook, nice 50-cent winner right now. We just put this bad boy on. So let's take another piece out. If we can get something in the 20s, we shall do it. Nice little move to the downside right now for Facebook. So that just came in a little bit. We are out of 40% of the trade. Two fills there. One at 60, one at 50. No, one at 43. There. So that was a nice bid there as well. So 43s gave us that 40 cents. 75 minus 40. Yeah, okay, 35. So 35 cents on that one. And the first one was only 20 cents. But again, all we're trying to do is make a little bit of cash. We do understand that the bottom is 202.80. So I'm trying to hold to see if that can come into play. We'll take one more bid around here, these bottoms, and then we'll see if we can hold 40% or so to the end of the day. So that's what we're trying to do right now. Looks like it could come through, but we can't forget about Miss V. What's up?
Hey guys, Steve G on the chat is asking, where likes at? I have the same question, guys. We have more than 3,000 people watching, only 500 likes, and less than 30 minutes left until the end of this trading week. So please, guys, make sure you like this video, support the community. It means so much to us. Back to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love it when you guys ask like the kind of questions that I'd be thinking about myself too. It's like it puts you on the spot to remind yourself that there's something interesting to look at that we can learn from. Because I got out of Sidu too early, and I said this, and Dominic mocked me for it, and he rightfully did. Because I'd said if 350 goes, it can get pretty ugly, and I got out at 350 and didn't re-enter the trade. But someone asked in the chat, like, would you hold on to like some of these names when you have them? It's made a top, it's falling like this. And my simple response was, yeah, sure, it's in the bottom end of this channel. And this is back when it was at about 320. But unless it can get back above this 335 and hold a bid there, what's your risk to reward? If you're short anywhere near the high, it doesn't really matter. But as long as we're inside of the channel, there's nothing to do but allow it to fall back in. If it wants to get above 335, you've held on to it that long, and the trend is to the downside, you don't really get out unless it breaks that trend. Sure, if it was barcoding, I can see when it gets right at the end of the day, you got to be flat. You're going to get out of it. But there's your rollover, and it's now at these lows of the day. Come on, shorts, come back. Oh, no, we just bounced again.
The market just ripped. So I just took a 10-cent hit on another 20% there on Facebook. So I just didn't want to be a part of that move there to the upside. My out now is 204.30. We're going to hold now for bottom. That just failed on that rip up, so that might be something. I'm going to cancel these bids right now. Hopefully we get a 203 flat bid for Facebook. It did get us out of our Apple though, and I'm happy to get out of that one. We did hit that all the way to the downside. We were holding. This time it was only 10%. Facebook's a lot bigger position for us, so we got out there for still profit. It took down 157. I had to find an out somewhere. Unfortunately, when we were talking, I missed it. We should have got out right there when it broke the 50 period and completely changed its direction to the upside. But this is why you get out when that happens, right? Now it's come back in. That's fine. We're still short Facebook. It's all good. But, that was a little bit of a dangerous wick there because, that could continue up. So you got to watch out. Now here it goes now. We are out of we're out of Apple, and then looking just to ease the pain here on this Facebook trade. So we're flat on Facebook. I mean, it's not, we're short at 75, it's at 81. So no real big deal here, but what's so right now?
No, see, what I said ease his pain, because that's like from Field of Dreams. That's the one.
I like that movie.
Good movie. It's a good movie. I cry every time I see Field of Dreams. It's like it's baseball. I'm a baseball fan. But UVXY is why I said because it's like we're in the bottom. Every time you get to the top of the channel, if you're holding a long position, it's like, because if it breaks the high, you're screwed. But every time it gets to the bottom of the channel, you're like, because if you're holding a short, we could actually reverse here. If we don't go anywhere in the next 15 minutes, that wouldn't necessarily surprise me. Then after 350, maybe you'll make a bit of a bigger move. But this is what I am watching. And you could look at VXX too, and I had this conversation with a trader. They're not always exactly the same. And he was right. Like sometimes you might see an overextension on UVXY, but overall it's the same kind of concept. When I said the it also meant that I got trailed out of Peloton here. So it was working, was rolling over, the market made the bounce, and Peloton went there. So there's nothing you can do about it. DWAC is also probably going to stop out. Like these shorts worked, and I think it made sense given what happened this week to try to get a little bit greedy. But yeah, there it is. We just broke the bottom of that channel. So some of these are going to start to come back in pretty heavily. It means the last Virgin Galactic will have to come out as well. DWAC has yet to break the high, but it does seem inevitable. I just mentioned Tesla trying to get off those lows. So it bounced up a little bit, not to VWAP, but just a tiny little bounce, and we just start melting to the upside. And that's all it takes in this market. 10 minutes till the imbalances. They don't appear they're going to be that big, which on a Friday with the week we had, people want to get to that golf course. People want to, have a quick one or get an early start to the weekend, I suppose. That's why the volumes are a little bit light.
What happened there? I thought, no, we didn't. I thought we were going to get some more Facebook short. Okay, Facebook's going to blow out upside right now. I was debating getting another piece short here into 50, but there goes 50 right now on Facebook. So, hey, man. Some of those, the longs right now are what's in charge. So the long is fine, that's fine. We actually were wound up pretty flat on that Facebook trade after all. So there it is, the long is now in and starting to print nicely to the upside here. I said that we were in a little bit of a worry spot there in the market as, it started to take off. It broke through that 50 period pretty easily. Sure, we've broken through before, but at the end of the day, it's just, looking, well, actually, right now, maybe there is a short here into this close. And remember, when you're battling with the close, the market's been so bad that this doesn't surprise me that we're starting to head upside right now. So a little bit of cautious tail there. I wish we were long. We're not. We could check out our Bausch and Lomb now. That's still at a good price for us. DraftKings now still at 13 and change. So stocks are ripping here, but it's not out of control. If we weren't so close to the close, I'd definitely be, look, if Apple can get back to 159, that's a different story. I think we'd short that. But, just like on Fed Day, when we were sort of uncertain about the move, right now, heading into the close, I don't really know where the money's going here. I feel like you want to be flat into the close. So I wonder if this is a lot of covering, people that are short now covering some of their positions. It wasn't the hardest trade to hold shorts into Fed. So I'm wondering if people now, it's Friday afternoon, they're like, okay, let's just cover the Fed trade that we had on. You're in the money now, down 2% at one point. So this is possibly covered. So a nice little move to the upside right now.
Trad's long. He's got to have a good long in there for sure. Every single short that I'm in, with the exception of Rivian, has come back to about break even or close to it and about to stop out. So in rather quick time, I'm probably only going to be in one thing left, and it will not be Virgin Galactic. What a strong move it's absolutely been, and I can do it, by the way, guys. It's actually really easy. I can do the Spock salute. I'm a nerd. I can do it. It's not that hard to pull off. But someone said I looked like Tuvok. I don't think so. But maybe that'd be an option for me on Halloween. I don't know. I already did that.
You were.
I did, but I wasn't actually Tuvok. And if you're a real nerd, you actually knew which character I was. I won't say, based on what I was wearing, down to the actual rank of the person who it was. You could have guessed, but only a few people were able to get it because there's only a few real nerds out there. But as quickly as we're moving to the upside, I'm looking at some names that aren't really following through. This is where it's still indecision time. Tesla got up there, went $7 and turned around a little bit, slowing down.
Someone said it was obvious that you were data.
Yes, it absolutely was. Exactly. So somebody got it.
Yeah, someone. Astralist Lux.
I was not Spock. I was Data. You could tell by the rank.
It's funny because when you said who you were, I thought you were you said Tupac. Someone said there, and I was like,
Tuvok.
Tuvok. I know.
I know, but you're saying I'm too. You know why you're saying I was Tuvok. You know. But I wasn't wearing Tuvok's uniform. But Microsoft again just gives the view up and starts pulling back as well.
So
you know who you were. You were.
Here we go. I was this guy.
Oh,
I have the hot dog. Oh, here we go. I was this guy. I was literally wearing this. So go back, find our Halloween show. We have a lot of good times to go here. 20 minutes until I get a speeding ticket at some point. I ain't speeding. Knock on wood. I've never gotten a ticket in my life, and I drive to work every day. No, man. That's cap. It's not cap. That's truth.
Yeah, I'm not even bringing that one up. But let's just say this: I've never actually gotten a ticket. But
there you go. So there you go. See,
but that's not what it's about, my friend. That's not what it's about.
Well, it's
I've never actually had an infraction, but
exactly.
I've been pulled over a bunch of times because that's always fun.
No. Well, that's what I'm saying. A speeding ticket. So none of us have got one. So is that cap there? Brad, how many speeding tickets have you gotten?
78.
3. Yeah, okay. That's probably a lie as well. You probably got more than that.
You know what they say? They get multiplied by 3. So
okay.
Pratt has gotten 9 speeding tickets.
Yeah, no.
Hopefully,
and there's nothing wrong. I mean, just be safe. That's
hopefully
all.
Pratt's mom
Thoughts
isn't
on
watching.
Ford. Okay, what's up, trending one? Let's go to Ford. Let's start talking a little bit about some names here. As we're only a little ways away, we're seeing here on the imbalance is 147. Someone posted. So sell side. So that's going to be irrelevant. Look, I like Ford, man. I mean, I like all the talk in the EV space. I really think this 14 not only has it held today, but if you look at this is just a 20-minute chart, we held back as well. Look, I consider holding 1385 to be the same as holding 14. So yeah, it's been a nasty move down. It's, we can check a daily chart, but even in the worst days in the market here, Ford has still held up a little bit. I mean, sure, again, don't go crazy and say, oh, I think Ford's held up, because honestly, it's come from 26. It's been chopped in half down here. But, again, a lot of that bump up was Rivian. And some of that, when Rivian was valued at 180, obviously Ford was pumping higher and higher there. But you could see right into here, I really believe Ford holds this 1250. Now, we could be wrong, been wrong before many times, but right here, I think that's a good hold there for Ford. So, if you were looking at anything, that's a good one. And you know what wasn't, or what would have been a good hold that we didn't do, would have been Facebook. Facebook all the way back down now. Oh, geez, this is the problem. Yeah, all the way down. Look, we got out there, and now we'd be printing one more time, as our short was 204. So there it is, man. Facebook comes right back in off that move. And as long as these imbalances stay where they are, I mean, I don't think it's going to be too much there. We only have 15 minutes. Thank you, everybody. If you can, hit the like button. I mean, it was just, that's the way we can get this YouTube algorithm to go. If you can, hit the like button. And I hope everybody has a great weekend. Lots of sports, lots of stuff happening, horse racing.
And it's Mother's Day.
Yeah,
is there a
it's
better
Mother's
week?
Day.
Come on, right?
Yeah.
Make sure you call your mom, tell her you love her. That's what it's all about, and it's gonna be a fun one. I'm not into the Kentucky Derby, so for me, the sports on the weekend.
Raheem was talking about some Messier. The only reason I remember that.
Well, because Mark Messier.
Mark Messier. Where's
Legend.
the hockey guy? Where's the
Legend.
hockey guy? Maple Leafs tonight too. Wow, that should be exciting.
Oh my goodness! Come on, Leafs.
Boom! There it is.
Come on, Leafs.
Austin Matthews with 2 tonight. Nah, probably. I'll take 1 from Austin if he can get
You
it
should
to us.
see what the city of Toronto does when
No
the Leafs win a
David Kyle.
series. It's
No
crazy.
Tampa Bay.
What's wrong? Tampa. Whoa, David. No,
Oh.
come on, man. Come on.
Wrong sport.
The Lightning have already won back-to-back. Let's be real for a second.
No face,
They
David
don't
Kyle.
need it. We need
no
it.
face. This is Connor Brown, who is no longer with us, by
The
the way.
Leafs haven't won since there was 6 teams in the league. Or was it 8?
Oh,
What did he bet?
1967. 7, I saw that bet. Yeah,
What
but
is he,
Drake is getting paid by
was he
that
Floyd?
company. I'm not even going to say the company. The guy drops millions of dollars on all these bets and then posts them and makes sure to tag who he's betting with.
Yeah, I see how that. Yeah.
I see how that is. If anybody wants to sponsor me, hit me up. I'll make some bets.
I know.
And Parlay Prad. Yeah, we've already got it going. Yeah, forget, don't sponsor me. Sponsor Parlay Prad there. If anybody knows anybody at any big sports books that wants some Drake. I mean, Prad probably gets a few more followers than Drake, stuff like that, probably.
Clearly.
So, you may have to up the offer there.
Oh, BBIG's apparently making moves?
BBIG, yeah, nice little move for BBIG. That was funny you mentioned that there. I was just about to get out, man. That's a good move upside. There's only 15 minutes left. Let's just push the button here. If we can get a 30, we'll sit on something that's inverted so we can get a 30 fill. We don't need to get rebates or anything like that, but maybe it takes 30 now. So decent size at 30. What's that price? 27. So, okay, if we break below 26, which is VWAP, then we'll get out. Honestly, I only have 10% left. It's not going to matter. Well, it might matter, but 4 cents difference, whatever. I'm willing to take the risk to the upside here on BBIG. So now that we have this move above VWAP, let's see if it holds. If we're lucky enough to get 38s, let's get them. Otherwise, we're out at 26.
I was so close to actually Virgin Galactic being the last thing that I was in, and then it just broke here. There's nothing you can do, Virgin Galactic holding VWAP all afternoon. Meanwhile, Rivian is continuing to be, and I'll hold this one to the imbalances because it's still churning to the downside. And the difference being lockup expires next week. So I feel like that's probably the reason why in the market bounce, it's not showing as many signs of strength, and you gotta go with that. Everyone's joking around, they're like, yeah, we should get so-and-so on and sports betting, this and that. Truth be told, we had this conversation about parlays being not maybe the best bet, and then sort of what it takes to actually beat the book, and then individual daily fantasy as well.
Yeah,
The
DFS.
truth of the matter is there's so many people that do it on a higher level, and the degree to which they research and put the work into it. Like I know somebody who's into that with horse racing. It's like the spreadsheets that they have. That's not unlike trading. Like when you're going into the market, if you're not preparing yourself, if you're not putting the work in, like you're not going to have a chance. If you're casual in betting or whatever, like you're just going to get run over. So I hope it's for fun. And it's in trading, it's kind of the same thing. If you're casual about it, you're going to get run over.
I think a guaranteed bet would be Packers, Bills, Super Bowl.
That's obviously. I
think that's pretty obvious right there.
I mean, who's catching the ball for you? I'm not really sure, but
you're going to see Deebo Samuel is going to catch the ball for us at some point.
No way.
Well, I don't know.
You're not getting Deebo Samuel.
I think he's going to resign. I think he just wants a big payday.
They're going to pay him. They're going to pay him.
He just wants that big payday there. Okay, so right now the market is only 2 minutes away from imbalances.
That's right.
I'm not seeing any dramatic updates here. Trader Pratt has been using financial juice here to give us some updates, and he's still saying it's the same number the whole time. 147 to sell. So what we're going to do here is they're not out yet. As you can see, these are all of 9:30. We'll sit here with you. I'll move this up so you can see the stock and what's happening. This is the imbalance locator market on close orders coming through right now. So we're going to watch out. Look at the NASDAQ, man, tearing faces off. So it's a really good thing that it's a nice little day backside. I mean, it's really great. This is a good thing for Monday. I think you could swing long Monday. So I would take AMD into Monday right now. I like AMD into Monday. When the market starts to move like this, I mean, here's AMD. Look, watch, 1.3% up, AMD, and they had a good report. So if the NASDAQ is rocking and rolling, you may even open up north of 100 on Monday. I'm going to maybe clip this, and then when I'm wrong, I won't show it, but if I'm right, I will. North of 100 maybe on Monday for AMD. If they're going to swing on anything, I think this is a good one. Up 1.39%. Like a chump, we shorted it there. It ripped up. We knew we were in trouble when we did that, but we got out for 40-cent hit or whatever it was right there. But AMD right there to the upside. So I like that for a swing trade. We will watch this market. I think it's going to probably come out as a... I always like to look at the last half hour or so and maybe think that that's going to be indicative of what the market wants to do. So maybe a buy here. It's ripped up, but either way, I'm not expecting a big number, but we will have that for you in 15 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just into Rivian, but I kind of feel like it'll go to the upside. I mean, why not? I mean, I'm impressed with Vinco Ventures going to the upside today and actually holding higher. That's the kind of name you always want to make sure you have access to the aftermarket and pre-market as well, because if it does gap, sometimes you'll see that big spike. We just had the imbalances come in. It looks like mostly buy side.
I shorted TQQ.
PayPal
here.
$1 million to buy.
Okay, so it is going to be a buy side play here. Pretty
flat.
flat.
Pfizer 900. Yeah, it's not that big. Visa's a big sell, but Visa is always on here and it never actually holds up. But Intel small buy. Nothing over the top. Ford 500,000. That's not very big either. So pretty muted imbalances here. But we did start grinding a little bit higher. I guess it was good enough that it wasn't a sell.
Yeah, there was really nothing going on right there. Ooh, no, actually, I guess it's a little bit of a buy side there as it's starting to go back up. We did take a little shot on TQQ there, lost 25 cents. And again, this is the triple Qs. So the reason why, maybe now it's going to turn around. The reason why I took that trade again was more. I mean, we can maybe get in this again here. I don't know if it's going to go up or down. TQQ. The reason why we took that trade again. This is triple inverted, so it's the other way around. So what that means, of course, is that when you're trading the Qs, it's just a little bit expensive. I noticed that last time that when I was trading this, the moves are just so violent because it's a $310 stock that if I'm holding something else, it's very hard to sort of watch some of these plays because it moves too fast. So the TQQ, much more like a stock here that I can see what's going on. But there, we just made a tick high there. I think we can, let's go short.
Oh, look what just took the high of the day.
What was that?
Bausch and Lomb just took out $20. So that is finally, look, we actually have a successful IPO that isn't like something with a $2 million float and just sort of gaps to the upside and has a bunch of halts. But this was a legitimate company here coming to market and doing extremely well on its first day. It's been a while since we've been able to say that. Not a bad way to end the week.
Yeah, Bausch and Lomb. That was a good trade for me for sure. I don't need to look at this anymore. You already talked about there's Marathon, there's Visa, there's Activision there, one of the trades that Pratt is always making there, ATVI. We're getting messages from Greg saying don't dilly-dally here into the close.
Is he seriously?
So right now, I don't know.
Wow, Greg.
Shoot. Brennan is showing the traffic. 48 minutes. Yeah, you want to take that 43-minute one. Just follow me. Oh, that's transit.
So it's
Why, Greg?
faster for you guys to take transit
It's faster
than
to
drive?
take
No,
transit.
it's not. Trust me, I know where we're going.
It's true.
So it'll be fine. Unless there's construction there. Well, you want to leave now?
There's
I mean,
always construction.
Yeah, so, all right, then now the TQQ is to the downside right there. So you got to watch out for that one as we're trying to make some moves downside here on the TQQ. So that's going to be something there. We tried to reshort it once it made that high, but now we're way away from it. So I think we could be done this right now, man. BBIG. It didn't take down 26, but came pretty close. So let's see if it takes out 30. We're sitting up here, mid-30s, 40s right there. See if we can get it out. But right now, BBIG, I think we just take a 30 print, take our 24 cents and end it right now.
Oh my, you kidding me? I just got out of Rivian, and now someone pops 100,000 on the offer, and they just got filled. So they trailed 100,000 in the offer from 29.10 all the way to 28.90, and then just took it all in one shot on Boss X again. Which is oddly enough the same gateway that somebody decided to sell a bunch of Tesla shares the other day. But Rivian, we talked about the lockup expiration. Somebody, like one order, essentially dragged that down and then just took the entire fill. So a big block just got sold there. Still about 6 minutes to go. We're pretty much all flat on the day. Just looking over to see what some of these names did. Tesla was trying to bounce. A little bit of a pullback in there. It looks like it's not going to quite get into green territory. The market probably not either, but there was a bit of a fight that got put up there, trying to find something that ended pretty strong. Microsoft, which I was concerned about earlier, look at that wick high, that's ugly, so I'll put on the 15-minute chart. It did make the nice little double bottom. Softy, 270, man, that's a level we don't want to see go. You don't want to see 270 go on Monday, but it bounced pretty nicely there today, which is at least a decent sign. That's one of those last shoes to drop. And if you don't have an alert set for Microsoft 270, then you should probably go ahead and make sure you got one for next week.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be so many names to look at for next week for sure. Okay, so just looking here at AMD, like again, if we were into something right now, this would be a good short off of VWAP, but again, or a VWAP break to the long side right here. So if you are short, I would look to cover if we ever get up, just a few more pennies, man, like 95.60, 95.70. Like I said, I feel like we could revisit up here, man, 98, 99, $100 on Monday. It's strong into a weak market. Like AMD up 1.6 off of good earnings. And the reason why we're saying that is we've just based out there at 93, right? And then the previous base was 85 down here. So if we could just sort of settle and make this the new base 98, so that's what I'll be looking at. Maybe we can come in, see this 100, and then play off this 98 top on Monday. But again, the market, it's just if you think the market's going to go. I feel like this has been a pretty busy week. The market obviously is red now this week. We had Powell come down. But I wonder just that if everything is absorbed over the weekend, we may get some action, hopefully to the north side, as some people might have thought this was a little bit to the down on this week, maybe a little overdone is what I'm trying to get at. Here's the imbalances, and you guys are asking for them one last time. Palantir with a bid. There's only 4 minutes left now. My voice is like gone already. UiPath has a bid, so some of these beat down Kathy names are on here. Again, I just see Path and Palantir. I don't know if there's anything else. DD's a sell, but again,
it's a $2 stock.
Yeah, DD's not going to go anywhere.
Not anymore, it's not.
That's a sell, yeah. $1.80. I can't be tired. Try to go golf.
How are you yawning? Oh man, you gotta. Someone needs a Red Bull. Let's go to Brendan. I know we have a few earnings next week. Brendan?
Right. Earnings, guys, there are still, as we were saying with Danielle Shea, there are still decent names coming up next week, including, guys, not on this board, but aftermarket Monday, we'll get AMC Entertainment.
There you go. So Lordstown.
What day's AMC?
Aftermarket Monday.
Yeah, I think Palantir is Monday night as well, but it's on there. I don't know if that's right or not. Could be Monday morning for Palantir. Oh, it is pre-market. Okay, so that's a spicy one.
And Lordstown, which is, I think, more expensive than DD, but I'll double check. It's down there. And this is weird. We were saying this morning. There's a lot of things that you haven't looked at in a while, and lo and behold, they're at prices you didn't realize they were. Lordstown definitely falls into that bucket. Yep, they're $1.92. So we saw it with Fubo where it was still worth trading anyways, and we'll make sure we're locking in on those. Oh, man, everything. Rivian is continuing to fall. I kind of felt like with the lockup expiration, that should have just been the short that you hold on to. But the market did try to attempt a bounce here. Imbalances are pretty much dead at this point, other than that 1.5 million DD, which I'm sure is going to pair off anyways.
So Palantir, like, first of all, someone beat, I was going to say this is a Danielle Shea play right here because, again, a recent name that's just IPO that had these bump ups and then now faded back down. So Palantir in danger. I mean, there's so many stocks right now. This is where I first started buying Palantir down here. There are so many stocks right now that are in danger of, and that have broken their IPO prices, right? Now, again, Palantir came as a direct listing, so a little bit different, but as far as us trading public shares concerned, it's the same thing. And right there, so Palantir getting ready to take down their I think it was 925 or so was a direct listed price, but the bottom anyways is 9. So, I mean, if you're gonna play this name, you could listen to what she was talking about, write some calls. The IV on this is probably too high, but Palantir right now looking pretty nasty into the print for Monday. So,
oh my goodness.
I don't know if it's going to be, what's short on this name? We can look quickly. How many shares what's the short into Palantir here? The short float is the word I'm looking for. Only 6%. So the blowout to the upside probably not going to be in the cards for a short. But again, watch out for Palantir. Very nervous about those earnings for sure. But it's a cheap stock. So hey, if it gets even cheaper on Monday, maybe there's a buy at some point. But Palantir right at direct listed prices.
And DD actually didn't pair off, by the way. It's actually still 2.2 million shares worth it to sell. It just broke the low of the day. It's down 10%. Under pressure. I know NEO was under pressure for obviously because they're worried that it's going to get delisted, but this market did try to bounce. I'm just watching something. I just want to see if this holds in this 2 million imbalance to sell, which it looks like it might do with only 1 minute left, guys. So
someone said, "Where's the Palantir hat?"
Oh, there
it's collecting dust, is what it's doing right now.
Somebody's still on the offer of Rivian, by the way. Rivian is still falling here, and someone is still jamming on the offer, which makes some sense to me. Given how weak it had been in that lockup expiration. We got both Tony and Miss V on the bell. Neither is wearing green and the market is down. So, I'm not blaming this on them, but I'm blaming it on them.
Tony got evicted from this side over to the other side.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did. No, he literally did. His seat is gone. He is evicted. He no longer has a desk on the trading floor.
Yeah, he kind of did.
And that sucks. But I talked to Tony. He much enjoys this side, but working hard on the other side. So shout out to Tony right now, working with some algos and stuff like that. Too smart a guy to be hosting the show. Tony right now and Ms. V on the bell. Let's throw it over to them as we go. Right now with sub 10 seconds left. Hey, Tony, what's up, buddy? With only 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. All right, we got to go golfing. Let's get that out of here. All right, Brendan, how do we wind up?
Pretty red. Let's go. 0.6 for the S&P, 1.28 for the NASDAQ leading the way. Everything else, yeah. Bit of a chop fest, but a little bit constructive. Nice pop for crude there late in the day, 2%, guys.
So all your stop orders, get ready to rock and roll. So that was a good day, I guess. I was too busy getting ready to rock and roll here. Thanks, Brendan. What a fantastic show. Thank you so much to Maggie. Thank you so much to Ms. V today. Thank you so much to Liz, Katrine, everybody that's working with us in the back. Thanks to Tony for ringing the bell. Fahad, yeah, he had a pretty good week. Thanks to Fahad as well. Thank you to Trader Prad over there. What's up, Trader Prad? Killing it on the midday show, man. The guy talks for 3 hours. Absolutely unbelievable. Thank you to Neil. Thank you to Brendan, everybody here. It's a big, fantastic week. Any last wise words there, Mr. Roberts?
The only last wise words I have are Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And you guys got to get...
He's already beating me here.
Gone.
You want to race?
You want to race?
You want to race? All right, we got to get out of here. Anyways, guys, Happy Mother's Day. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for our trade of the day. It's golf time. Get ready for a picture. I'll send it on Twitter. Follow us all. Happy Mother's Day. Ciao, everybody. We gone.